I said we were going to watch the video, but it's not like we can just open the page and start watching. At the top of YouTube servers, 6 location markers have been placed. They monitor distortions in YouTube's upload speed. Those are the locations we need to target. If the sensors go bad, YouTube will think that the upload servers have gone down. Until its safety can be confirmed, all uploads will be stopped. I was going to do it myself. You dumbass. Hi, guys. Oh, God. I still feel a little sick. I don't know how my voice sounds. How are you all doing? Hi, Sadisha. Hi, Salty. Hi, Rosgriz. Hi, Calamitous, though he'll be back in later. Hi, Fiery. For how I open Twitch and the first thing I hear is you, dumbass. Okay. That's that. Oh, Salty, I'm trying. I was sick on, the first stream, and I got worse the next day, but I've been slowly getting better since then. Um, Still sucks, but I'm doing what I can. Finally got my first no damage run on 10 million. Nice. That's not an easy feat. There we go. That's not easy to pull off. I should know. Oh god, and I have to do the flight stick challenges from the charity stream at some point as well. I'm not doing it while I'm sick. Plus, we've got the second half of this video to go through. So, let me load that up. We skip. Okay, I'm gonna be holding this for a little bit longer. Hey, Lanzerance. Hey, Formidable. Battling the flu here myself. Oh, man. Um, May is, again, she got it much worse than I did, so if she comes in, give her your well wishes, because I'm on the up and up. She isn't. She's dealing with it really hard. On Stonehenge. Yeah, I went a little too far. Yeah, there it is. That's transfer orders, and here we go. Okay. It was on a hard not ace. I mean, still, like, maybe you get a little bit. No, gun damage isn't going to be that different because it's still. The problem isn't gun damage or, like. It's really the missiles and, like, the VLS from the Alicorn, as well as just the sheer number of guns. Oh, formidables. Yeah, my first stream was what, on the 2nd? Yeah, Friday and Saturday were my worst days. Friday was awful. I wanted to do this stream on Friday, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. My voice was totally gone. It still sounds a little gone. It feels like talking, like there's still mucus buildup, so. I have had bronchitis more than once, and I feel like sometimes that's just onset by a lot of mucus buildup. So I was really hoping that this wasn't going to end up in bronchitis. I know it's like uh, I'm pretty sure that's a bacteria. I don't know medical stuff. Try not to get me sick from over there. I'll try not to, Salty. How are you? I hope you guys that haven't been sick, I hope you've had a good start to your 2020s. Um, you know me, I don't like to get into politics too much, but, World War III coming soon. Release date, early 2020. Uh, I hope you're all signed up for the draft in the United States. If you're not in the United States, God bless you. uh, Internet's in a frenzy. Just waiting to get drafted. Yep. Shut up, Stinky. I'm in, what's the cutoff anyway on selective service? Like, when is the age that you're like, no, you're not gonna get forcibly drafted anymore? 25? Hmm. Yeah, so. Yeah, maybe it is 25, so like once we turn 25, we're not forced to. So I'm almost there. They just need to delay the release of World War III another year and I'm good. God, I feels weird to say that I'm going to be 25 at the end of this year. That's so weird. I don't feel like I turned 24 last month. Bronchitis is bacterial. Yeah, I thought so, formidable, but I think like sometimes my lungs just get filled up sometimes. So it leads into something that's sort of like it, like with the symptoms of it, but not actually bacterial. I don't know. Hey, Harvalat. Good to see you as well. I hope you're doing alright. I'm still sick. Oh, yeah, no, my birthday was like a month ago tomorrow, so. Yeah, I'm sure you've already said it, but thank you anyway, Salty. Yeah, look, if I'm getting drafted, I demand an EXO 2S. I demand Mihai in the back seat instead of the AI because I don't want the AI yelling at me. And I need the railgun. What else do I need? I'll take a squadron of EXO 2s. If you have anaphylactic shock in reaction to nuts, you're auto disqualified for military service. I know. I tried to enlist out of high school. Boom! I'm safe from World War III. No, there's a lot of uh medical exceptions that they would there's tons of medical exceptions. I'm sure like just my generalized anxiety is enough to I get really bad anxiety sometimes, so I'm sure that would be enough to stop me. Um Flat feet no longer disqualify me from military service. Shut up, Stinky. That sounds like a family member of mine. Like he would probably be saying the same thing, but he's much older. Hey, Captain Matias Torres. Things like sinus infections can lead to stuff like bronchitis if the drainage gets to the airways. Yeah, that's exactly it, formidable. I've had that happen twice. So, the last thing I wanted was for that to happen at the start of 2020. All right, so the funny thing is that this is going on YouTube, so like the first 13 and a half minutes of this is totally useless to everyone on YouTube who's like, what did he say about the gun? What did he say about the sin with the gun? Oh, we'll get to it. We got to start mission 11. Remember, guys, if you have any questions about a specific sin or a specific mission, hold that thought. Wait until we get to that sin or mission. Um, I don't want to skip ahead. I'm going as we go through. I'll be letting you know like here are some of the cut sins I had, or here are my thoughts on this sin or what happened in editing. I've got a funny couple of edit stories to tell you about. We may look through the YouTube like video comments, but I'm not sure. I've been responding and liking a lot of them. Liking, like the heart icons. So, but I've been responding to a lot of them. Some of them are the same. Like, a lot of people mentioned the gun sin. The gun was empty. We'll get to that. But that's yeah, we'll start in a moment. But if you guys have any questions about missions 1 through 10, I might have answered it in the last stream, which the archive for that stream and this stream will be going up, this week. So, and I'm not gonna put them as live streams. I'm just gonna upload them straight, and they'll be up. Um, but yeah, if you have any questions about missions 1 through 10, feel free to ask. Because I probably already answered, but feel free anyway. You saved me from Joint Assault's first row of aircraft challenge. Ew, no. Oh, that's such a stupid, like, not stupid. I guess it's clever in a way. Like, you can only use the top row of the aircraft because they're a lot weaker, but that's torture. You're playing Joint Assault. A6 on Capital Defense B. Jesus Christ. The amount of people sending you basically made me want to send them to the Shadow Realm. Salty, that's the comments on every one of these videos. I always thought that Babel was a code word instead of a call sign from Rescue. Yeah, I took it as a call sign. I took it as like they were talking. It sounded like Gargoyle to Babel, like, and then someone returned as Babel Roger. If Keystone comes in and says like, no, that's actually the IUN HQ, like that's the same voice actor, I'm fine. But first of all, the sin still stands because the whole thing still makes no sense. Like that one sin encompassed a lot more than just a Babel call, but it the fact that it was that what's the word I'm looking for? Um Vague? Yeah, vague is the word I'm looking for. That whole thing was so vague that it just yeah. Ugh. Yeah, it's still confusing as all hell. Um like again, I do enjoy 7. I really enjoy 7 actually. And I really do like its story. Um but there are a couple of moments, and that one is definitely one of them that I'm just like, what the fuck? Maybe there was something more cohesive in the planning, and somehow the execution of it just kind of went off the rails. I don't know, but um, anyway, we are well past that. The first act of the game, the first 4 missions, I think everyone agrees, they're the weakest, in terms of plot. Because the game really picks up when you get into Spare, and like it slows down a little bit with the LRSSG, um, but I'm fine with that because I actually had a video idea about this because it does go through like putting you into a false sense of security, like when you're back with the LRSSG and making too far bounty, it's like, oh, this is just like any other Ace Combat game. Boom, satellite's gone, nothing makes sense anymore. So now, Salty, I don't say Mission 5 is weak because it serves as Mission 1, you know, shoot down the bombers. So it's that whole introduction, reintroduction, I suppose, this time for Spare, so. Hey, ACF Nugget, how are you doing? I'm still a little sick. Guys, also, I'm gonna ask, just like last stream, I would rather we don't, bother with, um, some of the joke rewards, like, hat, just for this one. When I'm feeling more into it, and when we're doing actual games, then we'll do that, but I would have disabled it if I thought of it, but anyway. Except for Clown. Clown is funny. Clown's kind of one-dimensional, though. Most of the characters in Knocker is very one-dimensional. Well, Clown has a little bit, because he almost seemed regretful to say that Trigger was the closest. He even said UAVs were all over there, so he didn't want to say, like, it was definitely Trigger, but... Sorry. Just grow a real bushy beard. I've tried, you know. I've tried to let this grow out. I'm gonna take this all off again. They didn't need to explain anything, you know? Golem and Mage, they could have just been on standby for the rest of it. Maybe that's all that happened. Nothing happened. Knocker's chapped ass disgusts me. Knocker talking about his chapped ass really chaps my ass. Just for that. Oh man.
We've discovered that the intercept system has a blind spot.
I just want to make sure Streamlabs is picking up the audio, but I just want to make sure you guys are picking up the audio because it wasn't picking up last stream at the start. So just verify with me that came through. Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys. It still irks me that AWACS craft in the series have literally the least amount of information of the entire Air Force. Is that giant thing on your plate a pancake? AWACS serve as like really a driving force for the player, you know? Because we can't talk, so the AWACS has to do it for us. Um, but you know, it's a game. AWACS in real life. I was just listening to there are these videos of real ATC transmissions. I know I keep going off topic. I'm sorry. People on YouTube are really gonna be pissed. Like, how long do I have to keep skipping the video? But I've been listening to real ATC transmissions, and it's first of all really fascinating to hear actual ground and pilots talking to each other. But also there was this one instance where I think it was during a Super Bowl or something, some event where there was a restricted airspace, and there was, I don't know if it was a commander or an AWACS, but the call sign was Bigfoot. And if that was, I think I just spit on the mic. If that was an AWACS call sign, that's actually a pretty good AWACS call sign. I really like that. And that was in real life. That was real, like, air traffic control. Not, I guess it really wasn't ATC. It was more like just radio transmissions. But can volume go up a tick? Absolutely. Let's see how that does, and let me go. Let me know. Okay.
We've acquired this valuable information by sending our other squadrons on dangerous missions to scout the whole area and initiate combat. Of all the pilots assigned to us, only 2 managed to survive the mission.
This is a really clever way to tie all of the last few missions together by revealing what the hell we were actually doing, except for the fact that no one knew prisoners were being used. He doesn't even point out that Trigger and Count are the 2 that managed to survive.
So here's the funny thing. I really, really enjoy that, I mean, I know, like, everything wrong with videos when I do them. I notice things that a lot of people don't notice when I look carefully. Um, if you look very carefully at the map, you can see the 444 operations we took part in, which was mission, specifically 444, like not the defense of the base, which was mission 5, and not transferring McKinsey, which was mission 10. Mission 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all labeled on the map in those blue squares, and they indicate where the drone auto intercept system is. That's why in each of those missions there's drones, because someone, either Count or someone else, kept flying where drones were flying into airspace that drones were gonna auto respond. Which is really, really, like, cool that we get this scene that explains the whole thing. But he's like, we sent our pilots. Like, no, you sent prisoners. I mean, I guess it makes sense that they would use the cannon fodder to fight the drones. But that also explains the drones in Mission 9, Faceless Soldier. Because they were just there. They were just designed to auto-intercept, so... If any of the other 444 pilots survived, the only one was Tabloid. Anyone else we don't know about. And I know a lot of people said that Tabloid also survived, so it's not just Trigger and Count, it's not just 2. The thing is, the whole of 444 was kind of sent into the wood chopper. You know, they took the whole base and threw them down the trash chute that was Tyler Island. So the assumption is they're all dead, of course. Yeah, Calamitous, also that continuity error. So back with Mission 9, when that was actually something that I did plan on, and I totally forgot to put it into the video. When Spare Squadron does the heroic stick with Trigger moment, full band is actually on Trigger's right wing. I don't know if I have a scene where they come all together at the... No, but that's full band on Trigger's right. I don't remember if I got a top down. If I did it long enough for the top down to show up. Nope. Okay. But yeah, in this scene, full band is on Trigger's right wing. except when we go into back into gameplay and we're fighting the drones. Full band is on the tail end. Uh, I did forget to put that in. I think there was another sin. I want to say there was another sin that I just completely forgot to even put in the script. But yeah, there's that. Yeah, full band's number is 204. Nudges door. Thank you, May. The door appreciates it. So yeah, like, of course they wouldn't mention tabloid here, but all I sent was that they didn't even mention that it's trigger and count. They didn't say that it was prisoners. They just said it was our pilots. Oh yeah, yeah, that's full band. That's how full band faked his death. Overall, you did a good job. Thank you, Ishmael. I tried my best. Yeah, everyone send your well wishes to May. She needs it far more than I do. Her and Formidable, they're dealing with worse than I am. Formidable's got the flu. She's got whatever she's got. Some kind of virus.
The enemy fleet is concentrated there.
Eruja learned nothing from the Aegir fleet debacle and have chosen to deploy their most powerful fleet way too far to the east, again.
What do they expect when they put their most powerful fleet outside of the protection of the rest of the army? I did have another sin there that, hold on, let me just catch up with chat. Everyone's saying get well. Thanks all, I'm not dead yet at least. You get well too, Formidable. Ishmael, that's a separate video because it's DLC. It's not in the main game. Why would a massive fleet get sunk by 2 squadrons of F-15s? Shut up, Sneaky. Use the first part of your username. It's a video game. Mobius 1 single-handedly did everything in 4. It's a video game. We did that. Did you... What? ACF Nugget, what? What do you mean? I'm surprised Eruja was allowed to build another fleet after what happened in the last war. I mean, there is something you could say about, like, military rebuild restrictions, but, I mean, apparently there weren't any. I guess ISAF just didn't feel like implementing that. Oh, did you pass the illness over the stream? I hope not. My other sin that I did cut was, because I didn't think it was sin enough. In that briefing, he goes, while aircraft and ammo can be replaced, the lives of our pilots cannot. We don't want any casualties out there. Remember that. And my sin was, gee, would have been nice to have such sentiments earlier. But that kind of goes against the point of having Bandong in the first place.
Oh geez, Trigger has gone totally crazy to accept the 3 strikes like this.
Trigger, your call sign is Strider 1. You will be leading Strider Squadron.
I know that Wiseman has faith in Trigger, but to have him lead an entire squadron full of pilots that have been flying with Wiseman for months? Really?
Sorry, but I'm gonna eat while I work. My judgment goes fuzzy when I'm too hungry.
Best AWACS ever.
Platform perks confirmed. You just put the meat in between those buns and that burger is well done. I'm happy to eat both.
Ace Combat 7 just opened a major can of worms by siding with the hamburgers are not sandwiches crowd. Although I guess it's Count, so it doesn't really matter.
Because Count was the one that said, weren't we serving a sandwich? Longcaster doesn't correct him. Obviously, hamburgers are sandwiches. But I don't know if I'm gonna start some shit. That's why I said that they Ace Combat 7 siding with that crowd. But if it's Count siding with it, who cares? Hamburgers are hot dogs. What's a sandwich? Now replace the meat with a burger. I mean, with a patty. Boom, it's a burger. But it's still a sandwich. It's like all squares are rectangles. All burgers are sandwiches. Not all sandwiches are burgers. Not all rectangles are squares. Hot dogs are more like sandwiches than hamburgers. Hot dogs are weird sandwiches. It's not like you said you don't like popcorn. I do like popcorn. Is cereal soup? That one still hurts my brain. Salvation. The deliciousness of this pizza is a necessity. Hot dogs aren't sandwiches, they're tacos. But are tacos sandwiches? Is popcorn a vegetable? No, Patrick, popcorn is not a vegetable.
As before? Did they try to take down this fleet already?
That line always messes with me. Like, move on to the valley as before. That, because of that line, because I don't like hearing that line, sometimes I'll go for the valley first, and then go for the big main platform. But if... No, I was gonna say if you do that, then the aircrafts launch from the platform earlier, but they don't. Yeah, no, they don't. Maybe they move to the valley for construction or resupplying. Oh, I didn't have this in my script, but I will mention another sin that I had in my mind. Longcaster says something like they built a hell of a place to build. They picked a hell of a place to build it. Then again, what would you expect? And Count says, why not bomb the whole valley from above? That's what I would do. Erusia didn't build these. Those two platform structures, the one in the valley and the one in the sea, they're both Eusian, like just generally like part of the Continental Nations Economic Alliance. They're the ones who built it, just like I guess you could say like the FCU and North Point and whoever else owns the territory around here, but Erusia didn't build these. I guess you could call it Opera House too, but Opera House was an oil refinery, I think. So this wasn't anything related to oil. Oh, sorry, that's going to be the theme of this stream. Especially when I'm talking like this. Ugh. I think they meant it as they planned to attack the other platform first. Yeah, Captain, that's what my assumption was. But that wasn't said anywhere in the briefing, so I don't know. Yeah, Erusia just strolled in here and took over. None of the Njord fleet's ships' names are pronounceable. Thank God for the Ron fleet. Well, it's, what's it called? Norse mythology.
Trigger, what are the marks on your plane? 3 lines. Scratches. I don't like it. Like some lines. Nothing.
Count being a grade A asshole. And Hushin likes him later on? Okay, sure.
Count, this motherhead plans to keep you alive for a long time. So get used to it. What a pain in the ass.
Why is Count being such a stick in the mud, especially when his teammates this time around are actually skilled?
Best of all, we've taken 0 losses. Stay alive, people. Which is why I've taken the liberty of ordering dinner for you guys from a nice Italian bistro near the base.
That's an impressive feat, given that Italy does not exist in Strange Real.
I don't think we have any territory that looks like Italy. Like anywhere. I think someone said that there's somewhere that looks like England, but just like rotated. But I don't think we have Italy anywhere. Yeah, Emeria is the obvious choice. But still. Still, it's Italian. He said Italian. Calamitous fun fact, if you destroy the main fleet before spawning Ibis... Yeah, I know. All that spawn requirement, months ago. Almost a year ago now. Guys, this month is the 1st anniversary. Should I expect being drafted when I become of age in a couple years? No, Salty, because, the United States has a massive reserve army, so no, you're not going to get drafted. I don't even think there's going to be a draft. Don't worry about it. Count is just a teenage Nickelback. Hey, Warwolf 1020, I'm doing better, but still getting through it. Send your well wishes to Formidable and May. They're really dealing with it. Is it even canon anymore? Is what canon? Dutch rolling, all got like this is just the latest in. That's not even a sin, really. It's just the latest in a lot of real world references. No, Golduka, we have a massive reserve army. Draft's not gonna happen.
Enemy Aegis vessel intercepting incoming missiles with their Sea Whiz. Counteract Sea Whiz with a low approach or use missiles outside intercept range.
What they're fine when you're penetrating IWS.
I appreciate that Longcaster says Sea-Wiz correctly after Heavy Cloud called it CIWS in Infinity, but I guess the Erusian voice actor didn't get the same memo.
It is properly pronounced Sea-Wiz. Heavy Cloud pronouncing it CIWS in Naval Fleet Assault in Infinity really messed with me. Because that's just how I, from then on, called it. Assault Horizon, interestingly enough, never actually called it by Sea-Wiz or CIWS. They just called them Gatling closing guns. So Infinity was the first time, and it was wrong. It's supposed to be pronounced Sea-Wiz. I'm very curious how they got Longcaster to say it right, but not whoever voices the Erusian in that line that says CIWS. Very interesting. It chaps my ass. It chaps my ass, ACF. ACF Nugget.
Strider 1, this is Control Tower. The runway is clear?
Why is he saying that like a question?
So I had another sin cut just basically saying the same exact thing as the other sin where I was like, why is Count being such a stick in the mud? It was basically a duplicate of that, so I figured axe the one, keep the other. I had a couple of other sins. Fencer has a line where he's like, let me slide in on that tail. And I was like, hey, at least buy me dinner first. And the other one was Jaeger saying, time to stick a fork in it. And my sin would have been, this whole second half of the game is going to be food jokes, isn't it? Which, the DLC missions, I probably should have kept that in. Heavy Cloud is in Arrowheads because they could rehire him probably for cheaper than having to do the whole Sky thing again. Yeah, so the real world, our real world map is in the background. Always has been in Ace Combat 7. You guys can see it there. I didn't consider putting that as a sin, but it's been like that since Assault Horizon. Strange Reel was not in the back of Assault Horizon, Ishmael. Salty, right now, if you look above Mission 12, look very carefully. The light blue, there's the outlines of our continents. Ishmael, I think you're thinking of Battlefield. There was a map in Battlefield 4. Yeah, I didn't consider making this a sin, but maybe I should have. Yeah, it's the idea, like, that's the headcanon. It's been a headcanon for a very long time. And I'm positive that this is just their way of confirming it, that Strange Reel has their own Ace Combat games, and it takes place in our world. So I'm sure, like, this is, yeah, Assault Horizon is a canon game in 2012 Osea. Manny, yeah, look over here. You can see our real-world continents. Maybe I should have said that since apparently a lot of you didn't even notice it, but yeah. Yeah, they've been there. They've been there since release. Does that mean Joint Assault is canon in Strange Real? Yeah. Yes, it does. This is one of my favorite moments in the video. Because I think we all... I spoiled this for myself. Ace Combat Fan almost did. I think he saw the... Because we were looking at the mission list. And I didn't realize... I thought it was going to be like Ace Combat 4, 5, 0, 6... What else? Assault Horizon and Infinity should have clued me in that they weren't going to do it like that, but I didn't. You guys know when you go into free mission, in those 4 games, or in X or Joint Assault or Legacy, you have the boxes, and when you hover over one, then you get the mission details. Assault Horizon changed that, Infinity kept that change, and 7 kept that change, where it's a list now. I didn't expect that, and when I checked free mission to see the missions, I thought I was gonna see, like, the PS2 games. No, the mission names were all right there. I think Ace Combat Fan saw the word Stonehenge and, like, shut off his brain. I don't know if he saw the word defensive, when we were together watching it, or, playing the game, but, I saw it. I saw all the mission names, and I think we all, like, I think everyone had the same reaction I did, because my eyes went wide. I was like, oh my god, they did it. Yeah, Rosgoes, I mentioned 6. Like, 4506, X, Joint Assault, and Legacy all have those. Even Northern Wings had that, actually. But yeah, I think we all had this fucking reaction.
Excuse me, what?
We're going to use Stonehenge for a long-range attack against the Arsenal bird.
Holy shit.
Like, I had to take off a sin for that. I had to. I think someone commented that I should have taken more sins off. But I take a lot of sins off in this mission, so...
Majority of the artillery is out of action after an air raid by the independent state allied forces.
No way, Rosgriz! The Template Institute continued their blind run? Oh my god, I gotta see that. I must have stopped looking at Reddit right when that clip went viral. Oh my god, because I saw their first couple of missions, but it went way too long. It was hours long. I didn't know they continued. Hey, Parfait.
When that happened, the main base was being repaired from the damage caused by the asteroid, so it managed to escape the bombardment.
You guys can see the asteroid crater to the bottom left there. There was a fan theory for some reason way back in the day. I'm talking 2000s, early 2000s. Some idiot proposed that Railgun 4, this is Railgun 4, by the way, the one that fires in this game, that for some reason this railgun was out of commission for repairs. Like it was in the middle of, like, maintenance or something. Like, it hadn't been disconnected from the network by a crater. But the crater is right there. So yes, technically the main base did get hit. That is the main, like, circle ring around it that I guess has the connections to each of the cannons, but the railgun itself wasn't damaged. Time did damage it, but still.
For some reason, they refer to one single railgun as the main base.
The Erusian forces have detected our movements and are marching on Stonehenge.
Wait, hold on. This map is showing Tyler Island as completely taken over by the Erusians.
This is weird.
And even sending forces to attack Stonehenge, with no indication of Oseans in the vicinity. So much for the Tyler Island operation. And Erusians are also coming from Axel Bay, which we conveniently left out in the entire game.
Manny, I'm sure they didn't have this planned out.
The Arsenal bird is closing in, but if our operation goes as planned, we should be able to shoot it down before it reaches the operation area.
That doesn't happen.
We've set up strong points we call menhirs around Stonehenge.
Axel Bay is it only 3 or is it also in 2? I know it's not in Legacy, but I want to say it was in 2. Yes, it was in 2. Yeah, Sledgehammer. Yeah, so it appeared in both of those games.
We already used that for Infinity.
We've set up strong points we call menhirs around Stonehenge.
We already used that for Infinity Stonehenge targeting satellites. I guess Project Aces can't think of another clever name related to Stonehenge besides Menhir or Megalith.
I did feel a little bad about that, Sin. There's not a whole lot of other clever names you can really think of when it comes to Stonehenge. Menhir is something to do with, like, columns of stone. Megalith, similar thing. So I guess, like, they ran out of clever names they could use, so they just reused Menhir from Infinity. But still. I guess Druid would be a cool call sign, but...
I'm Warrant Officer Lehman.
Before this, when Major Deanna McConey introduced herself, I had a sin saying, "I'll do whatever you say, Major Hottie," but I had to make it a sin because it's very sin-worthy.
Related to Stonehenge besides Menhir or Megalith.
I'm Warrant Officer
Stone is a little too on the nose.
Lehman never says what he's a specialist of.
So, people said that there is an actual military rank of specialist. Do people introduce themselves as... First of all, his military rank is warrant officer. So, I don't know. Like, maybe he's specialist layman, but I'm the specialist at Stonehenges. Unless you mean, like, W.O. Lehman SPC? Like, is that an actual full thing? I mean, no, I'm not hating on Megalith Salty. Yes, Captain, that is another sin suggested that I should have made, that Tyler Island does not match geography at all, but, you know, gameplay.
Stonehenge, huh? It's bigger than I imagined. Uglier, too.
Didn't you check in on Stonehenge a few months ago? There are only 3 Menhir units, but they're referred to as Menhir 5, 6, and 7. Wouldn't it be Menhir 1, 2, and 3? It's not like they used the call sign outside of Stonehenge.
Someone corrected me on this in the comments, that this would actually 2 people corrected me on this, that 5, 6, and 7 actually probably refer to their positions, like, related to the map or coordinates, or even maybe the railguns. Which does make a bit of sense. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I should have cut that one out. If you want to, if you guys want to take -1 sin, fine. But yeah, apparently there is an explanation for that. It's just never mentioned. So, screw the Division HQ. Calamitous, she could also have just been referring... She may not have even been referring to Layman. She could have been referring to one of the students with her. Because Second Lieutenant is not that high up in ranks at all. When's the YouTube pass coming out? Oh, salty. No. I would expect a colonel or general to take over or talk through the radio like an Anchorhead Bay and one of the most important assets on the planet. Well, Ishmael McConey is a major, so... One officer assigned to a specific duty, such as air, typically has already passed your... Okay. Interesting. Yeah, maybe I should have more military knowledge, given how much Ace Combat I've played, but...
This is men here 6. That's the last of the enemy reinforcements. I gave my men a 15-minute vacation. Sorry, I need a short breather myself.
Are you even allowed to do that in an active war zone? There's no breaks in war.
I'll just be stitching on my lost limbs. Should be back before lunch.
And did Aruja confirm you can take a lunch break?
A couple of my favorite lines. Still had to sin them. There were also 2 other sins that I cut here. McConey says, skipping sequences 47 to 97. And I was like, are you sure that's a good idea? That's 50 processes you're just throwing out. And Layman goes, we've only got 60% green. 30% is yellow, 10% is red. And my sin would have been, yes, but what are these percentages? Wires? Lights? Pumpkins?
Actually, no, he did not have to take them out. It sounds like he only killed them right when he made those shots. That implies they were captured already, and given that they were also civilians, Mr. Glittner needs to be tried for war crimes.
Douche, total douche. So, there are a couple of other lines before this. McConey says power level is at 80%, you think we should take our shot? I had a sin for that, because why would McConey want to take a shot at 80% power level? There's also this other thing, if the choppers, the helicopter unit, if they manage to get to Stonehenge, nothing happens. So, I would have had a sin that said the choppers reaching Stonehenge doesn't actually matter. And then, when the choppers do reach Stonehenge, when they get on top of the railgun, they drop paratroopers. The game doesn't render the paratroopers, even though they were rendered as far long ago as 0. So I would have just pointed that out as well. I cut those 2 for 2 reasons. The paratrooper sin, you could excuse as, like, not having you murder actual humans. Although we have done that to Olivieri, but again, he wasn't rendered. I guess they wouldn't want to render you actually murdering, like, a human body. But the other thing is that I couldn't get the footage. Every time I tried to let the choppers reach Stonehenge, the other allies would actually eliminate the choppers. So I don't want to hear anything about the allies being useless, because they eliminated the choppers. Like, I was just sitting there watching them. Cyclops Squadron took out the rocket unit, flew all the way back, and shot down all of the choppers. So, I don't want to hear that the AI in this game is useless when they did that to me. I couldn't get any footage of it. I tried. I goddamn tried. I can't. I couldn't even protect the Erusian choppers. Can't have Geneva Conventions if there is no Geneva. Oh god. Yeah, threat level reduced to 2. Like, what the hell does that mean? It's just like that. Oh, Rosgriz. Yeah, but still, funny to answer sarcasm with sarcasm. It's a big maze. Shooting paratroopers is not a war crime, though. Yeah, but I remember, you know, Assault Horizon was the first and still the last game to show us blood in gameplay in an Ace Combat game, so I don't know.
Now this is the money shot.
So here's the funny thing. this entire sequence, these last few sins, I think it was sin 210. No, it was later. I don't know which one of these sins it was. But one of them. So my clips in the editor, I have to take like when I show the number of sins, I have to copy that clip, paste it, and change the number, and do that every time. So you can imagine there's like 500 of those clips, all different numbers, just to indicate the number of sins. I missed one here in Stonehenge. So it was like I don't know if it was number 215, but it was like 215 ding 215. I think one of my videos still has an error like that. I noticed the error here and I was like, shit, because this is far enough back that I would have to fix the entire sin count for the rest of the video. So thankfully I realized I have sin subtraction here. In the original edit of this video, this was a -1 sin. But as it turned out, I had two instances where I did not update the sin count, so the final sin count was not correct. So I updated. I did manually update one by one all of the sins after that, but then just added 2 more minus sins here to make the rest of the video match up, instead of editing the rest of the video. Little bit of, we'll fix it in post.
Now this is the money shot.
So, like, the whole point was that this minus sin here, would go to 213 on the counter. It's just, I had it at 214 because I missed 2 others before. So I just upped it up to here and then just added some more minus sins. It was not supposed to be, the minus sin sound effect was not supposed to be this early in my sentence, basically.
Now this is the money shot.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be that whole time, so, yeah.
Swarm of UAVs is launching from the Arsenal bird. Keep them away from Stonehenge.
Why isn't the Arsenal bird using the Helios missiles to defend itself? Erusia's making the same mistake as Estevakia did with the
I'm clear
Igara.
on commentary for a bit.
The survey data isn't updating. No response from our spotter.
Survey vehicle down.
Also, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if all of you know, I know some of you do. If you actually do check the jamming facility in the center, it's bombed out. So it's canon that Mobius 1 destroyed the jammer and did not just gun his way through the railguns. Although you still can.
You can't tell me they didn't see the survey data not updating until now. And besides, if it wasn't updated, wouldn't the railgun still fire just to the wrong target location?
Up yet, Major. We still have
Rest in peace, Josephine.
Right. The oldest sensors in the book.
Okay, but how? No one's sitting at the back of a Stonehenge railgun and turning it to fire like a Gatling gun.
Boom!
That's something.
I hate these lines.
What was this sequence of lines supposed to mean?
Like, why did they force them together?
Ace Combat 7 was rated T for teens.
I think it's May that was having such an issue with this line. I don't dislike the line. Like, Fubar is not that uncommon of a term in the military, as far as I know. And it's funny. But still, rated T for teens, so.
Stonehenge case of honest to goodness range table? What was that curious?
Why are there range tables? The Stonehenge railguns automatically tracked and fired on free-falling meteorites and jet aircraft using supercomputers. You can't tell me that the Erusians actually used range tables to manually calculate Mobius 1's position each and every time they fired on him.
People have commented on the video saying, well, yeah, it's a backup. Fuck that. Makoni has to sit there. Like, I don't have any graph paper near me. But she has to sit there reading through the range tables, getting calculations, positions, latitude, longitude, angle. Like you can't tell me they like that was a legitimate backup solution for like all of the free falling meteorites and even the jet aircraft. So like there is no way that they used range tables for any of the aircraft in 4. Like there's no way Erusia added that when they invaded Stonehenge. So I refuse to believe those range tables are Erusian. The only way that I can accept the range tables being there from the beginning is if it was for the initial, like, when Ulysses was not confirmed to be to separate, when it didn't have a hollow center, when it wasn't going to separate into millions of fragments. If it was just going to be, if they still thought, like, if those were written down when the asteroid, they thought it was just going to be one big rock coming down, and they had the possibility, like, maybe we have to use a range table to find its position as it's slowly coming down, fine, but that's the only way that I can accept that. I do not accept, like, where's Mobius 1? He's there? Okay, carry the 3. Fire there. Wait, why is he over there already? Sir, you took 5 minutes to calculate that. Well, it's a range table. No. I know, like, she even says it's something that archaic, but... I know foobar isn't a verb, but, you know, do not foobar this. It's obviously, like, you're supposed to read that as, do not fuck this up beyond all reality. Like, I know they're supposed to always have backups, but then what the fuck was the point? There is no way that those range tables were made after they found out that Ulysses was going to separate into millions of fragments, and there's no way that they used those range tables during the Continental War. I refuse to believe that. Hypothesis: range tables are FCU used for initial test calibrations to make sure the computer targeting system is accurate. Boom! Rosgriz, I will accept that. I will accept that they use the range tables to calibrate the computers. But then, I don't know if that would, like, theoretically apply to the Arsenal bird. But then again, a lot of what they're doing is theoretical, including using their eyes to find where the damn thing is, so maybe I can let that one slide. I will accept that. I will accept that. However, there is nothing that confirms that. So, sin stands. The interesting thing, though, is that Cinema Sins has a very strict policy of the books do not matter. In the same way, I try to stay away from website lore or news or anything like that. I try to stick with just the game, which I couldn't for Avril because, you know, her dad died in Ace Combat 5. We know that for sure. I mean, not in what we played, but in that war. And the supercomputer thing was only mentioned on the website, so I had to make a couple of exceptions, but the sin still stands. Makoni is literally saying what the Excalibur officer was saying in Zero. Target confirmed, laser output, whatever.
Give me a second. It's been a while since I've used something this archaic. Does the angle on this table account for wind and Coriolis?
First off, Lehman immediately says,
Not much wind.
so wind is not even a factor, and even if it was, wouldn't the angle on the table have a formula for calculating the difference in firing angle depending on wind speed? Second, what the hell does Coriolis force have to do with anything? The Arsenal bird is right on Stonehenge's doorstep. Coriolis force is about much larger distances than this.
We're talking about,
and again, if Coriolis force did have something
interstate,
to do with
intercontinental.
the firing angle, wouldn't there be a formula on the range table to help calculate that?
Coriolis force is, if I remember correctly, I remember I did research a little bit into it, just to make sure that Coriolis force has to apply here, and I don't think it does. I think it relates to weather patterns, but we're talking weather patterns across, like, a Gulf Stream. Not, it's outside my house. What's the Coriolis force? Big brain pro gamer move. Yep, this is big brain time. No. But even if Wind or Coriolis Force had anything to do with anything, there would have been like further calculations on the range tables. Like it would have been made very clear on there what was involved. Chow, I will accept that the Coriolis would have been involved in the original plan, but in the original plan they were going to use the computers, or not the computers. Sorry, the survey data. So, which also assumes that they were using the computers anyway. But with manual firing, if they were firing from that distance, sure, Coriolis force, but not at this distance. Coriolis can affect long-range sniper shots, but Stonehenge shells would have enough mass to negate it. Okay, I can accept that. Most of what I found on Coriolis Force did seem like we're talking about the distance between one side of the continent and another side. But if it can affect like sniper shots in a certain small degree, that does make sense. But remember the shells that Stonehenge fires. They're not. It's not a sniper bullet. That's a lot more than just a sniper bullet. Yeah, and its travel speed. So we're not shooting a Zakhaev. Fucking gotta shoot his arm off. We're just shooting the arm of the Arsenal bird. Ugh.
Formula on the range table to help calculate that? Lehman has got some sniper binoculars to make out the Ocean flag on the Arsenal bird from that distance. Especially since the Arsenal bird doesn't have an Ocean flag on it.
My mistake. I should have realized the context. He said not much wind. He was referring to the Ocean flag anywhere that they planted somewhere on the base. Not an actual flag, like not an emblem or something on the Arsenal bird. He was inspecting a flag to see what the wind speed was. My mistake. That being said, I would change the sin. I would not retract the sin. Instead, I would ask, why the hell does the Ocean flag indicate the wind speed at the Arsenal bird's altitude? We all know for a fact that, especially altitudes, what is this altitude? What are we at? 20, look at where the Arsenal bird is. 22 almost 1,000 feet off the ground. You're telling me the Ocean flag at ground level, showing not much wind, is going to be the same as the wind speed at 22,000 feet. Bullshit. So, the sin stands, but it's a different sin. I want an Ocean flag on the Arsenal Rectenna. I mean, I'm surprised there wasn't one, you know? I'm surprised there wasn't like a big, like we made this. But either way, like, yes, my mistake. He must have been referring to an Ocean flag at the facility to verify the wind speed, but that does not indicate the wind speed where the Arsenal bird is. And not to mention, it's on a different part of the map than Stonehenge, so it's entirely possible there's more wind here than here, and at 22,000 feet, you're telling me the same amount of wind at ground level? Fuck off. Sin stands.
Lehman has got some sniper since the Arsenal bird doesn't have an Ocean flag on it.
My bad, but sin stands. Hey, warrior.
I've got a bone to pick with this line. In the original Japanese, this line was more like, everyone who said that and pushed themselves too hard died. The Chinese subtitles say, that's how former members died because they were stubborn. The English localization on this line completely jacked up the meaning.
The implication by this, Cubicle and I, my co-admin at the wiki, we were talking about this, I want to say a month or two after the game released. Back then, think about, we're talking like February or March, way before the DLC missions. he and I basically agreed it was talking about Strider 1, the previous Strider 1, um, who is mysteriously absent um, during the first part of the game. So, if not Strider 1, at least, like, that shows some history. Like, former members were stubborn of the two squadrons. Um, but in English, again, I have such bones to pick with the localization company, not with Bandai Namco. They outsourced the localization. Maybe that was a I don't know if they ever done internal localization to English, but man, that was screwed up in English. The DLC missions fixed it in Anchorhead when if you last long enough with Scream and Rage, Hushin will talk to Count, saying something like the previous Strider 1, etc., etc. So they did take this and put it into the DLC mission script. Um, but it should have been correct from the beginning. Um, yeah, I want to give credit to Cubicle because he was the one who really looked into it. Um, it wasn't like my hypothesis. It was more his investigation, his hypothesis. So he deserves the credit for that. But if he hadn't pointed it out, I would have never noticed, and I would never have seen this. But no, they jacked up the meaning in English. And again, I don't blame Bamco. I blame whoever localized this game. They did mostly a good job, but God, when there are moments that you notice it, you do notice it. Formidable, I'm starting to feel dizzy. Please rest, Formidable. Sleep as much as you can. Fluids, water, juice, tea. Proper tea with honey. Um, Dayquil, dude, whatever you can get. Please feel better, man. But yeah, that's where I stand on that line. I mean, at least they got it in the DLC, but ugh, you do notice the localization issues when they're there.
4, adjusting angle. 3, 2, 1, fire! Hit, damn it!
If there was anything that I would sin about that, it's the delayed reaction, but really, how can you sin this beautiful cutscene?
God, that cutscene is beautiful.
Second best cutscene in all of Ace Combat.
I'll say, especially those two lead birds. They're the Ocean Big Shots.
I know, that's the money shot.
Win if we follow them. The Ocean Big Shots?
You mean the Ocean Big Shot?
I really, really hate the Ocean Big Shot nickname.
The best? The best cutscene is the Alicorn sinking. That cutscene is another sin that I cut from here. Defensive range. During the debriefing, I was trying to think. Did Wiseman say it or did the debriefing say it? In the debriefing, they say that the Arsenal Bird's defensive range has been decimated. My sin was decimated implies completely destroyed, which it wasn't. It's much less, sure, but it's not decimated. Which it wasn't, but I figured, you know what, from like almost the whole continent to whoop, just a space elevator, fine, I'll let it slide. And Stonehenge went silent forever. Its final act was good. At least it redeemed itself.
Is a land of diversity. Each region has its own unique and special culture.
Okay, what purpose did that serve?
Cassette story
Russia
needed
is
more.
feeling the pressure and is reacting by attempting to activate the ballistic missile base in the suburbs of Sierra Plata.
It wouldn't be an Ace Combat game if we didn't attack a missile base.
Arusia only has 5 IRBM silos in total.
Hi guys, how you doing? You all doing all right? Hear me just fine? Good. I'm glad. Could be better. um, Premonition better than 10 million relief plan. Changed my mind. Calamitous Awakening. Sly, where's the minus sin for Magic Spear? Lanzarus, this goes back to, like, I would probably remove a sin for every single soundtrack in this game. And most Ace Combat games, it's an easy way out. It's a cop-out. I prefer having moments like I did with Daredevil. Just sin this entire mission? No, no, no! This mission's good! I like this mission. It doesn't last that long. You know, usually when you get a mission with a specific mechanic like this, it takes forever. But no, I like this mission. Hi, how are you? Where is the bomber? Parfait, I think the bomber's off screen. Maybe they're at too high of an altitude or something, and they just chose not to render it because you'd waste time looking for it. I didn't really mind that. Awakening does not substitute into the tracking algorithm. I don't care, Calamitous. Awakening is better. Literally every aircraft is a missile base. Fair enough. This mission was a pain to S rank on Ace. Get good. Not that bad. Not like Faceless Soldier. But anyway. So, a couple of cutscenes that I had for this mission. In the briefing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the aircraft circles around a lot more, and I think May and I actually mentioned in my blind live stream, this mission is a lot easier than the briefing implies, and it turns out that's for a reason. Like, that would have been my sin. This mission is not nearly as difficult as this briefing makes it seem. I cut that sin because, as it turns out, this mission was supposed to be more difficult. A lot more difficult. The missile silos would not have been marked on the radar. There are lines about following the road and finding the vehicles and finding where a lot of vehicles are surrounding. Like, you actually had to follow the road at low altitude to find the missile bases. And then once you found them, you had to circle around and wait for the bombers to drop. So this mission was supposed to be a lot more difficult. And again, just like Mission 4 or Tyler Island when we get to it, they didn't think it was fun. They hated the game. Kono hated what they made. The developers weren't very enthusiastic about it either. So maybe it just wasn't fun. Maybe it was a waste of time, or you kept crashing because you were so low altitude, or this mission was just, like, infuriatingly difficult because of it. Whatever the reason, that's not what we got. And I don't mind what we did end up with, because this mission does not overstay its welcome. So I appreciate it. Pipeline without the sandstorm, that sounds awful. Ugh. Lanzarance, it would be so interesting if we could play, like, the cut missions of 7 and have it be like Ace of Aces difficulty or something. But I worry that people wouldn't find it fun. Or worth paying for. So, I don't know. Oh, Calamitous, you're saying Premonition, the unused track. I forget which one's Premonition. Sorry. All the tracks for the last mission are weirdly named. It's a good track, but it's no Awakening. If anything, remove a sin for Project Ace's Perseverance. Just make this game negative sins for that. The second sin that I cut from the briefing was the briefing officer said, "We suffered human and material losses in the last battle, so Cyclops Squadron will sit this one out." My sin was, except none of Cyclops Squadron was killed. A couple of them were injured or had to bail out, sure, but there's no real reason to not have the entire unit here. I cut that sin because I realized that it might have been aircraft issues, and Cyclops did also, was it Fencer? Yeah, Fencer. He had a rough bailout. And this is actually alluded to in the DLC missions. It's Fencer still hasn't recovered in the first mission, so better that I did cut that one, because it wouldn't have aged well with the DLC missions. What are the Ocean forces doing for the first 3 months before the Arsenalberg got dropped? They got yeeted by Erusia. They almost got yeeted off the continent again, like ISAF. Erusia had a lot of regional support, so Osea, once Osea failed. Okay, Captain, this goes back to here. We'll go back to mission 13 in a second. You are asking about a mission we've already passed, so I'll give you that, and we'll go back for a second. Oh, you're right, Salty. Fencer didn't recover at all. Huh. He didn't? Fencer never rejoined us? Interesting. I don't think I ever noticed that. Okay, Captain, here's your explanation.
Well, he did stress his achievements.
Damn, we actually got payback on McKinsey. This game deserves sins off just for that.
We've discovered that the intercept system has a blind spot. We've acquired this valuable information by sending our other squadrons on dangerous missions to scout the whole area and initiate combat. Of all the pilots assigned to us, only 2 managed to survive the mission.
This is a really clever way to tie all of the last few missions together by revealing what the hell we were actually doing, except for the fact that no one knew prisoners were being used. He doesn't even point out that Trigger and Count are the 2 that managed to survive.
Yeah, Fencer rejoins at Farbanti. So, Captain, there's your explanation. Osea realized that, first of all, they lost Harling. So, they needed to regroup, rather. Recoup the loss. Find another former president. Missions 3 and 4. Mission 3 was also a massive loss. You know, they lost the Kestrel 2, they lost Skeleton Squadron, they lost Brownie and Gargoyle 1. And then, you know, frickin' rescue happens. So Osea pulled back, and McKinsey offers a solution. We have all these prisoners, throw them in planes. Let's find where these drones are. And, like, that's what he alludes to in Mission 5. He said that there was something about suggesting that you're going to go to the Waiapolo Mountains, but that idea was flat out rejected. Nope. Instead, you'll be defending this base or something like that, because the bombers are coming in. The point is, Osea used the prisoners as cannon fodder. Throw them into Erusian territory. Find where the drone auto-intercept happens. Discover where the holes are. Then we can send in a long-range strategic strike to just hit Farbanti, end the war. It was a worthy strategy. Because it almost worked. So, remember that in Mission 7, Jaeger, I think it was Jaeger, said, wish we used that hole to get home, too. But they were being chased by drones. The implication is that they went to Stonehenge, did some whatever recon, came back, but on the way back, or like at Stonehenge or something, they got discovered by the drones, so they were being chased by them on the way back, and I guess they didn't use the hole that they found, so they didn't alert the Rouge or whatever, but this is the whole explanation for what Osea was doing after rescue. Because Mission 3 was supposed to be like, you know, the Kestrel 2 would have taken over Farbanti, we would take down one of the Arsenal birds, we'd have a route to the space elevator, but all that failed, so this was Osea's plan B. find where Rouge has set up the drones, send prisoners to verify that, send in a strategic strike to take out Verbante, end the war. So it it almost worked, if not for the satellites. Well, Soul Squadron came in after Manny, so I don't think they chased them from the beginning. Well, they lost the Anderson because of the drone attacks. Yeah, but Calamitous, McKinsey says due to certain factors, which is implied to be the drones, they got detected. So, no Geneva means no Geneva Convention. 3 months ground stalemate must be tough. Hoorah to the grunts for holding out that long. Exactly. I see it, Calamitous. I didn't need the whole roster, but I got it. And no, I tried doing multiple lines on mobile too, but no. Twitch won't let you.
Back a missile base.
Assisted by those ant lions from Slovakia? God, no.
Arusia only has 5 IRBM silos in total.
If the
I had a cutscene here where I said, I'm curious how Lancaster knows that.
weather is too cloudy for
How
the
does he know there's
bombers
5?
to find the targets,
5
then
active.
how did Lancaster determine their locations? And since Lancaster has determined their locations, can't the bombers just throw bunker busters at all of them to make sure they get everything?
We wouldn't have a mission.
They completely lost it. You can bet on it.
Why is the use of IRBMs considered to be completely losing it? Missiles of all shapes and sizes have been used countless times in Strange Real. This is nothing new.
You know what people have tried to tell me? In the YouTube comments, and funnily enough, somewhere else? They were nukes. They lost it because those IRBMs had nuclear warheads. Huh? What? What? Where? When? Who? Where was that mentioned? When was that mentioned? Who mentioned that? The IRBM explosions are ballistic, sure. They're damaging, just like Helios. But those aren't nukes. I don't know. I don't know why anyone thinks it was a nuke, but the IRBMs are not nukes. So I refuse to hear. Hold on, I got a notification. I refuse to hear that it was like, oh yeah, those were nukes, so that's why. Wait, what? Are you serious? Yo, awesome. I want to say, if I'm reading this right, a Japanese news, I don't know if they're like video gaming news or general news, but they were like, the 3 games that we've been addicted to in 2019. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Super Mario Maker 2, and Ace Combat 7, especially the VR. That's awesome. More recognition. Yes, please. Question. Sly, I know you like the Exo 2, but do you like Switchblade planes in general? If not, what kind of wings on jets do you like then? FSW, swing wings, swept wings, delta wings, or dare drink at least 2 glasses of water? Parfait, that's not how you do truth or dare. It has to be like the truth has to be like more embarrassing than that. It has to be like I don't know. It's not just asking me a question like, "Hey, what kind of wings do you prefer?" No, it's like, "How many times did you pee your pants when you were 10 years old?" I don't know. Yes, I still have nightmares. No. It's something. It's supposed to be something like personal or embarrassing or really interesting. Not like, "Hey, what kind of wings do you like?" um, but I'll take the water because my throat hurts. I said nothing. I'm not gonna flood myself. I'm not gonna drown myself from the inside out. Yeah, Erusia has no reason to use nukes. Instead of the Skynet revolution Schroeder's cooking up, yeah, let's freak out about the short-range ballistic missiles. Yeah, there would be a lot more damage if these things were nukes. Alright.
If the weather is too cloudy for the bombers to find the targets, then how can they see any structures even if the bomb hits a real silo?
So, there's, a cutscene here. I couldn't get footage. Only because I was a little lazy to capture this footage. I thought I captured it, but I decided if I didn't capture it, I'm just not going to bother recapturing it. Um, when you if the bunker buster takes off the lid of the silo and exposes the warhead, um, I think Count says hit, but it was off the mark. Let's give him another. And then the bomber says the warhead should be exposed. Standard missiles should suffice, but take your pick. And then you can either use the bunker buster again, or you can just fire 2 standard missiles and the missile is destroyed. My sin would have been, hold on. If the explosion of a nearby bunker buster is enough to expose the silo, why can't we just use our missiles to knock off the hatches and then destroy the missiles ourselves? Do we really need the bombers at all here? I had it recorded and everything. I just didn't have the footage from the game of that instance. So
Sky feels open and free today. As a Cyclops, I feel like a bird in a cage. Once this mission's over, I guess we'll be back as becoming commanders of them again. What a pain in the ass.
Count sounds like every angsty teenager ever.
a few more cutscenes. Um, there are 2 lines. This is a serious mission. Was it Wiseman who gave Strider 2 to Count? Our formation changes every mission. And I actually would have taken a sin off for that. My script was, this is actually something that happens in real life with large units like the LRSSG. So I'll give Ace Combat credit for finally having a large unit with fluid team dynamics per mission. I just didn't keep that. I don't know why specifically, but catching up with the chat. What if those IRBMs contain Trinity? But they didn't. We also have a thing called guided penetration bombs, yeah. Manny, I just think like they would have been too high at altitude for us to see, so they just bothered, like, they didn't bother putting them in. And then the other thing, the other cutscene that I had there was Longcaster pointing out the reinforcements. It must be the reinforcements they called in. They don't appear to be going after our bomber. And then one of the reinforcements has a line, there, those are the ones doing the terminal guidance. Or, not terminal guidance, sorry, that's a DLC phrase. those are the ones marking whatever. There's an erosion line for like pointing you out as whoever's the person marking for the bombs. Um, my sin would have been, why aren't they going after the bombers? The Erusians must be aware of bombers in the area, so they must know that we can't destroy the silos without them. So why would they target Strider Squadron?
Missile silos have been destroyed. Wait, what the hell is that?
Count saw the missile launch before it even launched.
Can you see any borders from here?
We've detected an IRBM launch. Confirmed signature on our radar. Launch site is this dam.
Erusia is definitely getting combat assistance from Belka if they hit a missile silo underneath a dam.
Have a chance. Shoot it down before it reaches critical altitude.
It wouldn't be a post-2010 Ace Combat game without a vertical missile chase.
Warning, we confirm another launch. Take it out.
If Lancaster could mark the silos on our radar, how did he miss the legit launchers that weren't hidden underneath the dam?
Additional launch confirmed.
When I say I miss Ace Combat Infinity, I don't mean the 3 missile launch mission update.
That went about as expected. Be sure to include in the report how much ass I kicked while off the company commander's leash.
What did you even do in this mission?
Okay, Calamitous, you may be. I don't remember what the erosion line was though. So terminal guidance, get away from that UAV. Yeah, the last game that had, well, 2 and Legacy. Both 2 and Legacy let you choose your wingman, and 1. 1, 2, and Legacy. How many classes have you failed since 6th grade? If none, how close were you to failing your first? Or dare preview and everything wrong with DLC. Sin for us, preferably not an obvious sin. No, I'm not going to preview a sin. I want to say, does that include college, or are you just talking high school? Because college is a wild west. In high school, I think the only class was 10th grade AP History. I think that was the closest one I had to failing. I think so. No, not college? Okay, yeah, I think that might have just been it.
Under the cover of night, our plan is that all squadrons...
Except Cyclops Squadron, apparently. It wouldn't be an Ace Combat game without a canyon flight.
I had a cutscene there. There's a point in the briefing where it pans down and shows you the altitude limit and the planes going under. That's an obvious callback to Infinity. Which I would have said, obvious callback to Infinity's canyon briefing is obvious. Sinned, but appreciated.
Searchlight up ahead. Watch for it.
Searchlights are a damn awesome addition, but how do the people manning them not hear the jet engines?
Everyone here's already signed their wills.
That ain't funny.
Never was good at jokes.
Well, if you're in the military, I hope you did sign a will.
Watch yourselves out there. We're going to need all of you in Farbanti. Without Wiseman here, everybody wants to give orders like they're the company commander himself.
How was that an order?
Yep, Avalon Infinity.
On the base, imposing radio silence.
Lancaster takes another minute to keep talking. Also, why are we only imposing radio silence now and not through the whole canyon?
Here's a funny glitch. If you go fast enough that you hit waypoint 3, Lancaster will say imposing radio silence before Count asks when can we take on the final mission. So that dialogue happens after radio silence when it's actually not supposed to. It's a really funny glitch if you go through fast enough. Catching up. Manny, congratulations on finishing and passing your last class. I noticed you took the canyon flight slower than I fly it. Rosgriz, that was for the sake of getting the dialogue. That was for recording it. You never used this airbase during the attack on Farbanti, so why attack it? Golduka, it's the hangar for the... It's for Farbanti, the hangar. Yes, the return line, even in the DLC, is the same return line as Long Day. But
time for their wake-up call.
If they haven't even woken up, how do you explain the transport taking off?
I don't get that transport.
You mean the base commander hasn't woken up in all this commotion?
There's also another joke. Be quick, gotta deliver on time or the pizza's free. And Count goes, your jokes haven't gotten any better. And I had a cutscene saying, fuck you, Count, I'm here for these pizza delivery jokes.
Picking up an enemy squadron.
Oh, another cutscene. One of the Erusians says, this is more than just a surprise attack. My sin was, how is it more than a surprise attack? Especially when it is a surprise attack.
It must be the reinforcements they called in.
Where are these guys coming from? To the north is nothing but water, and as far as we know, we destroyed Aruja's last aircraft carrier.
All prisoners of war will be treated in accordance with international law. We've even brought pizza.
Hang on, did they actually bring pizza? If so, it has got to be frigid cold by now. If not, that breaks international law because they're torturing them with false promises of pizza.
So, a few comments on the video have mentioned MRE pizza, which, first of all, I'm simultaneously impressed and not surprised that there's pizza as available as MRE, but still, I would probably still send that because that cannot taste that good. Maybe it still tastes like pizza, but MRE is military rations. Pizza with pineapples, it might as well be. Military rations, MRE meals are designed to be like, I think some of them are like add water and just eat it. The pizza is that way apparently. And sure, it doesn't taste like real pizza, but it's still pizza. But yeah, I would still call it cruel and unusual punishment, therefore a war crime. So that breaks international law. So still. Manny, what if those Su-35s came from Dennis Airport? No, they came from the north. They came from over the ocean. Dennis is like curving all the way around. How would they? No. Some MRE tastes better than restaurant food, though. I am so sorry that you have such terrible restaurants near you. Cape Rainy does have like a small island to its northwest. No, it doesn't. Oh, it does. That island is way too small, though. There's no way there's a military base there. There's no way they could have squadrons of... There's no way. No. Yeah, they're 35s, not 33s.
Okay, go ahead and begin your approach. Go to the flight control.
No offense to the army, but if I was Trigger, I would nope right out of there.
Mega
There's
float.
no way Basilisk team can do flight
20
control,
years early.
especially in extremely cloudy conditions at night.
So someone did say that there's entirely the possibility that there were people capable of just doing air traffic control on Basilisk's team. But then I would have responded with, like, how would you ensure they survived? You know? Considering Tyler Island isn't on the map and it's pretty small, no, Tyler Island is on the map. It's the wrong island shape, but it is on the map. Carrier Island. Lanzer has suggested that the flankers could have already been on combat air patrol. I can accept that, but still, that's what's it called? Convenience. Anything could be a carrier aircraft if you try hard enough. That's Mission 19's landing.
Submarines have arrived from the Ocean mainland and are refueling.
There weren't any submarine docks at that base, and there aren't any submarines in the next mission either.
My job was to compare his performance as a pilot now to when he was younger and understand how his skills evolved.
How do you have any combat data from when he was younger? Mihai's measurements mostly look good. Blood pressure, oxygen saturation, breathing rate, and his temperature, which is apparently in Celsius, so we know Eruja is using metric.
I had a cut part of this scene where I pointed out his beats per minute were a little high because it says 95 beats per minute. Then I got my Fitbit, and for some reason I noticed my heart rate just higher at points, at times. And I realized, you know what, maybe Mihai sitting there and using the controls, maybe his heart rate is a little higher. I'll remove that part, but I that wasn't like a different sin or anything. It was just like an extra line as part of this sin, but
What's far more worrisome on this screen is the computer performance. This looks like a complicated 3D eye mapping program. How is it that Schroeder's laptop is running this program using 5% CPU, less than half a megabyte of RAM, and 60 kilobytes disk read-write? If I try to use Photoshop on my laptop, the damn thing becomes so hot it's like Belka launched a nuke inside of it.
it does.
He got caught in a surprise dogfight with an especially stubborn enemy. It took a while for Mihai to bring him down.
Mihai did not get caught in a surprise dogfight with anyone but Trigger, and neither of them got shot down. None of that matches this footage, which is Mihai chasing an F-16 over Choppenberg, as evidenced by the crater. Also, apparently Mihai's helmet display uses the same HUD as Ace Combat itself, but now we know why Mihai's plane seems like magic. Infinite guns, infinite missiles, infinite 6AMs that he never uses, and infinite flares.
Mihai hit the high Gs multiple times before disappearing into the blue. The support team couldn't even keep up.
Well, yeah, they haven't even taken off yet. Farbanti battle on September 19th, again, go figure.
Well, Lanzarents, that was just like heavily zoomed in. That Schroeder, like that image of Schroeder is from here. So zoom in from here. Yeah, it's super low res. That's just because I zoomed in from this scene.
Taken off yet. Farbanti battle on September 19th, again, go figure. My eyes! How did both ISAF and Osea choose to attack Farbanti at the worst possible time of day for pilots?
Is that fucking Metropolitan from Joint Assault? Go back to that Soul Squadron sin?
At 6AMs that he never uses, and infinite flares.
Mihai hit the high Gs
No!
multiple times before disappearing into the blue. The support team couldn't even keep up.
Well, yeah, they haven't even...
That's not Metropolitan. What is that, cutscene? Because Zap should have the... I would just put in, the discs. I would just put in, like, the soundtrack discs into my computer, but I'm not gonna, like... It's right up against the walls, so I'm not gonna try moving things around. King of the Heavens. There's no way that that's Metropolitan. Sure, the string strum, but... No. Hearing it stand alone, that's not at all like Metropolitan. There's that 7 motif. I didn't even hear that in the game. God, that's beautiful. I love this soundtrack. Wint be like, "Aye, King, where you going?" And if we listen to Metropolitan, If I just search Metropolitan, I'm gonna get tons of different fucking things. Yeah. That first beat, some of that does seem like you could go for, like, yeah, that was there, but eh, it's like one of those, you know what it's like? I can't help but think that Anchorhead Raid sounds like running in the 90s. This is not what this stream was about. No, hold on. Something about this beat and this rhythm just reminds me of running in the 90s. I'm trying to find... I think it's this part. Something about this part, just... I don't know why. It's something about that part that makes me think of running in the 90s. You may be right, Eagles of Garuda. Hi, by the way. It might be just because of the beats per minute. Or at least similar. Yeah, I know, like, there must be, like, something in the composition that it comes down right at the same time. But, god damn it, it's, I don't know. God, it's so good, though. Fucking Ace Combat, man. Fucking Ace Combat, man. I wanted to make a video of that. Comparing them. Or, like, combining them. Anyway, we were watching this.
Even taken off yet. Farbanti battle
King,
on
where you
September
going?
19th, again, go figure.
Bye, ACF Nugget. Good night.
My eyes! How did both ISAF and Osea choose to attack Farbanti at the worst possible time of day for pilots?
You can't get this wrong twice. God damn it.
Considerably weakened organized resistance from the Erusian army. Operation nearly complete. Just need to see it through. Understood. Understood. Alright. Understood. Understood. Understood.
6.
The end of the war is in sight.
Sure, in 2005 we invaded the sun behind us, but still. Some people were actually giving me a little bit of shade in the comments. Like, oh my god, why did you send that? Like, what was the problem there? Like, you're telling me something's fine with them just going understood, 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 understood? Like, you're saying that's fine? I thought it was sin-worthy. It's one of the things that I like less about Farbanti, though I still love this mission almost entirely. I love both Farbanti missions so much. A+ writing.
Guys, 'cause I'm buying. Roger that. Man, don't jinx us.
Wiseman would be great at CinemaSins.
Here's the funny thing. I really, like, tried. I could not find anything that I wanted to say bad about any of the rest of the dialogue. From any of the other areas. I didn't have anything. And I still don't. Farbanti's good. Truth understood, Terror understood.
Ah, yes, 5 Sukhois coming to Farbanti's defense right at the end of the battle. Where have I heard that one before?
Everyone knows I had to do that. I had to do that.
LRSSG, we have an emergency order from Mission Command. Bring down Mr. X. I know it's a tall order, but HQ wouldn't ask if they didn't have...
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, Calamitous. Why did you have to remind me of that? I forgot to do that blooper. I forgot to do X gonna give it to you. God damn it. Damn it. Oh. Oh my god. Ah. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed at myself. Shit. Why didn't I write that down? Why didn't I write down that blooper? I wanted to, but it was too long. I decided against it. But someone else did it, I think. But god damn it, why didn't I do X gonna give it to you? Shit.
Of course they would ask, even if they didn't have faith. I haven't forgotten about Mission 3.
The only reason I put that sin in there was because Joe Zieja mentioned it in his playthrough. When he said HQ wouldn't ask if they didn't have faith in you, he was like, that doesn't matter. Or like, of course they would ask. Like, something like that.
Our act is over. Meanwhile, you shoot down Mr. X. Right? Alright, he grabbed the bait. Time to take him for a ride.
Mihai commences to perform DFN on Wiseman.
I did have another sin where Count like repeatedly calls Wiseman, Wiseman, stay strong, we're not done here, Wiseman. Even after Jaeger confirmed his death, so I did point out that sin, but I chose to remove it. Just didn't feel confident about that one.
Wiseman.
Hey Shay, now this video
I can accept
sucks.
that the HUD's connection is reliant on satellites, but if the satellites are being destroyed, why does it take so long for the connection to completely disconnect? And why do we get intermittent static bursts in the meantime? And why doesn't this happen in the later missions?
Someone commented that well obviously they're shooting down one satellite at a time, so you temporarily lose connection to one, but then you reconnect to another. Obviously. Thing is, why does it still take so long? And still, why doesn't it happen in the later missions?
What kept the world relatively sane up to that point had been free-flowing data and information. But now, those were gone.
You're telling me Strangerial hasn't developed cable internet? It all relies on satellites? What are all of those power lines for?
I think only one person mentioned the power lines might be used for electricity. I mean, duh, they're power lines. But I'm glad no one else called me out on that. Like, they're power lines. Are you kidding me? Like, that's what they're called. That's what they're for, power. I was expecting people to call me out on that. Why doesn't Strangeville have cable internet? It's all satellites? That sucks. That sucks so much. What about the electrosphere? I mean, that's the question, isn't it? If it does work on satellites, that would explain how Nemo and Dizian can get into it. They just fly up to a satellite.
The continent that had once seen wars that were only fought between Osea and Rugia.
Bullshit. Osea was not involved in every single war on Usea.
I even heard a rumor that a group of Osean convicts had rebelled.
This isn't the first time we hear this one. I don't understand it. The 444th Squadron is disbanded by now, given the events on Tyler Island that we find out later. And by that point, only Tabloid and Avril are alive, so what other Osean convicts are there to rebel?
Someone was talking to me on Reddit about this. Turns out there's a line that is really difficult to like trigger in Faceless Soldier. One of the spare members will say their sin lines are different than ours when you're fighting the drones. So that might actually explain where this rumor comes from. That uh, the drones with the lines on them, other people are seeing them as sin lines, therefore they think they're penal squadron members. Um, and since those drones are firing on Oseans, Osean drones firing on Oseans, there's the friendly fire thing. So maybe that's what's going on, but um I can even trigger that line. I think it's just random. Some of the lines are just random, like Argus, AWACS Argus, which I didn't sin because there's nothing sin worthy about it. Um but yeah. I mean that's entirely possible that's the case. That they're just talking about the lights on the drones and people are mistaking those for sins, so that's where the rumor starts. Which I would accept that if it was explained.
I'm sure the drones are still working perfectly, following their mission orders to the letter.
Foreshadowing.
I'll be taking the data I've acquired away from the front lines now.
Oh yeah, of course, because the space elevator definitely won't become the front lines.
Oh, and I'll be taking the girls too.
Why? What purpose do they serve to you? Why not let them rejoin the people at Shalaji?
I told my assistant Masa.
Just like with Gandar Bay, how the hell could they have screwed this one up? According to the Japanese dialogue and some other language subtitles, this was supposed to be Martha, who is Yoko Martha Ino from Ace Combat 3. They had the reference for her name. Why couldn't they get a simple Easter egg right?
Again, I don't blame Bandai Namco unless I have more information about how the localization process went down. Until such a point, I blame the company they hired for localization. Masa isn't even a girl's name. I just look it up, and it's not a popular first name. It's more often used as a male name from Israel. There's a man named Masa in the Bible. One of the 12 sons of Ishmael. I mean, how? Because I looked at the Japanese, and even if you throw it into Google, it says Martha. Why did you say that name? See, if they actually said Martha, then I would have put the Batman vs Superman reference. God, what a fucking garbage movie. But again, like most of the game is actually fairly localized fairly well. The DLC is almost perfectly. Um but oh my god, what happened? Why couldn't they get an Ace Combat 3 reference right? And something's funny to me about it that they couldn't get a reference to 3 correct. Like imagine from here on out they actually retcon her name to be Yokomasa Ino. Fucking ugh. Jesus Christ. Oh great guys, you're making Schroeder out to be the worst pedo ever. What purpose do the girls serve to him? Mihai doesn't need to be loyal to Schroeder anymore. I don't know. I don't know.
Cyclops will remain at the base on standby to serve as defense. With the communication network currently down in the capital.
Throughout the game, if you
I don't know. No one commented and no one posted in chat during the premiere. No one seems to have picked up on this. On this little edit that I made. Throughout the game and this video, if you listen carefully, you could tell which lines had to be revoiced. I mean, it's a little clear in the video when there's a quality difference, but again, it is clear in the game too at points.
Listen carefully, you can tell which lines they had to revoice. It's usually not that noticeable, but this briefing is really bad.
Also, I had another cutscene where I said I appreciate the need to manually mark enemy forces, but how do we know where they are without the satellite network? because during the start of the briefing, he does it like Photoshop, like he clicks and red comes into the map. How do we know that that's where Rouge's forces are? But I cut that because maybe they do have some intel.
Are you here for the escort? You're not the squadron I was expecting.
Which squadron was Carl expecting?
Captain Carl, they're on our side. And those two pilots we've heard about must be here too.
Okay, I hope you're right.
Right about what, Count? What are you talking about?
Williams processed the unknowns caught in your cams to identify friend or foe.
It's not often that we get a well-designed gimmick and it doesn't overstay its welcome. 2 missions was perfect for this one. Kudos, Project Aces. Take another send-off.
We're almost at landfill number 7. If we can make it through, we'll be in arm's reach of the...
Actually, okay, so there were 2 cutscenes before this. Lancaster's line, "Give me Strider Squadron's IDs. Oh, and hand me that sandwich." My sin was, funny line, but how does Lancaster not already have Strider Squadron's IDs if Captain Carl saw them and Lancaster identified them for him? I cut that because I realized Lancaster verbally identified. He didn't actually give Carl the IFF or the IDs or whatever it was. So actually, he probably only just got Strider Squadron's IDs at that point. So I cut that sin. The other sin that I cut was Lancaster, when you identify the non-aggressive Erusians, Hushin says it's Lancaster says it's Erusian, and then Hushin says they aren't responding aggressively. And then I was gonna cut to footage of them firing on me, responding aggressively. But I cut that because, you know, they don't know who you are, so I felt that it was a little disingenuous.
We're almost at landfill number 7. If we can make it through, we'll be in arm's reach of the rendezvous at Grunder Park.
Not only is Grunder still operational, but they're even allowed to purchase land? Osea let this happen to themselves by not dismantling the company.
Open declaration of war.
Mid-mission exposition.
Of some young Erusian officers.
It's always those damn young Erusian officers.
But there was an unseen force guiding us. It was technology they borrowed from the Belkans.
Yep, figures. Belka did everything wrong.
I refuse to accept that Belka did nothing wrong. Less wrong than we thought years ago, but not nothing.
Rumors? Free Erusia has been around for at least 15 years.
Anchorhead wasn't blown up by Strider, Chow. Only the ships were. The actual area wasn't. It wasn't like Artiglio at all. Erusia sure likes its landfills. Well, they have to. You have to do a landfill in order to create an island.
Ace Combat 7 was rated T for teens.
What's going on? Dr. Shepherd! Whoa, there's a girl on board? He's not lying about carrying civilians. No, unless she's a soldier.
This feels really sexist. Not every female soldier has a low voice like Hushin.
Right, I'm shooting him down. Any complaints? Granted.
Complaints granted? Lancaster should have said something a lot clearer than that to give permission to engage.
Nice kill!
What's that about?
Wait.
The escort fighter is...
Why do the escort drones wait so long to engage us?
Parfait, I didn't mention it because it's not required in this mission. You're not forced to. I have to leave because school and stuff, but I leave you with one last question. So the penal unit betrayal thing could mimic be no. Immediately, no. They had Ocean markings, but they didn't have sin lines. Also, they don't engage you until Artiglio and Anchorhead, and then they disappear. Well, man, you just fight them at Anchorhead and they just poof, they just vanish. No, you shoot them down, you kill them, but then nothing. Like, the rumor didn't start again until after Farbanti, so no, that nothing to do with it. I don't know why, like, not just you, Warrior, a lot of people think that that references Mimic. This is a standalone story, and the Alicorn missions are standalone as well. They don't rely on each other. So, no, not at all. Alright, guys, we are, like, this stream is continuing, we are continuing, but I will need to be right back. So, stick around, we're gonna keep, watching and talking about the behind the scenes on this, so I'll be right back. I was going to be right back, and then I started watching that video of the Templin Institute of Mark reacting to Stonehenge. Yeah, I need to go back and watch this whole playthrough. Holy shit. He enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm glad. Because you could tell, like, at least some of the Templin Institute was very, very into Ace Combat, so the fact that he was fucking freaking out, that was awesome. Wow. I hate that I didn't know about those streams. Because I would have loved to be there.
Hey, it's not our fault they won't listen to reason. Why build something like that? Whoever did is the king of all.
We're also Shovel Knight now. I spilled some water on my last shirt, so shirt change.
Like what? A drone that makes you coffee? What other kinds of drones were you trying to make, Schroeder, besides those that engage non-erosions?
I mean...
Who the hell thought that giving drones remote activation rights was a good idea?
Understood.
Who was Longcaster replying to?
All hostiles, huh?
Again, what's Count going on about?
I don't know what all of that is about.
Why didn't Longcaster detect that Ocean F-16, especially since it had its weapon system active?
In order to respond to the attack on the base, Cyclops has scrambled after being on standby. We'll head up too, once our planes are ready.
Ah yes, in the meantime, let's get this debriefing done. That definitely can't wait until after the attack on the base.
They could do something
Also, why
besides
don't we
this.
get to play the mission to defend this base? Also, who chose you to do the debriefings from here on out, Jaeger?
The last transmission I
There was also that line about what's up with the commander. He's staying in his room. He's still alive since we can hear him crying. My sin for that was, if they're talking about the base commander, I get that this is a stressful situation, but someone really needs to check on him and keep him safe. I cut that because it seemed a little too sensitive. But I still feel like I should have sinned something with that. Like, I don't understand what they were going for there, or why the commander, like, was so frizzled out. But yeah, of course he was thinking about suicide. I mean, that's what they're referring to. He's still alive since we can hear him crying. Like, yeah, so the implication there was, no, he hasn't offed himself yet. I don't know what was supposed to be there, but yeah, maybe just war as hell.
heard before everything went to shit.
Yeah,
was
sorry,
that some
Salty.
prisoners
I didn't have the audio there, so.
From an Ocean military penal unit rioted and managed to escape. They stole some jets and now they were flying around.
I'm gonna skip ahead because none of this changed.
Yes, this is a heartbreaking moment, and
I've been there through.
Now, regarding Count's suggestion to think about self-defense.
Jaeger clearly thought about Megalith for a second. Why not? It may be a broken down husk after we blew it up years back, but what remains of it must still be a lot of stone fortress structures. It might not be a bad place to temporarily set up camp. Of course, he throws out the idea as soon as he thinks of it, and instead decides on literal hell on Earth.
I know they didn't know that Tyler Island was hell on Earth, but and I know Megalith was destroyed. Like, we did blow up the missile, but if there was a nuke on that missile, it didn't go off, and like, a lot of the fortress still seemed to be intact relatively in the explosion cutscene at the end of 4. So, and also some people were saying that there's no supplies there. Yeah, but that was regarding self-defense, Jaeger said. So I know that they're probably looking for relief from Osea. There was probably no supplies to find at Megalith. But still, you know, the reference was made there. I heard a theory that Aruja might have turned Megalith into a drone factory. Well, I mean, that's just a theory. There's That's not even a theory though, because if it's a theory, it's based on something. There's nothing. Well, maybe in the ending cutscene when it shows the drone, uh, the Hugin and Munin, like their influence on Usia, maybe there's something in Megalith, but eh.
Count says his previous squadron took part.
I like to think Count suggested to go to Megalith and Jaeger just deflected. About Count's suggestion, Tyler Island.
In an operation to seize control of the island.
If you look closely, you can see Count's name, which begs.
I didn't like how I edited this. This wasn't a good capture of Count and Count and Wiseman's names actually. But you can see them if you squint hard enough. But I should have found a better like shot, a higher quality or something. But yeah, no, you can see Count and Wiseman's names there. Where's Count's name? Fly in my room. Next to my avatar, nope. This direction. Count's name is next to it. Didn't Trigger also have an account? No, I don't think so.
Begs two questions.
Skip.
Based on what Count told me about the island
naval vessels were sent to Tyler Island.
Supply ships should be available.
Wait, what? The supply ships can literally go all the way to Osea? How? The mass driver on the island is pointing at the space elevator, and we've heard nothing about the supply ships being able to carry people, or even land anywhere except on an arsenal bird.
Someone said that they can go to space, so they could probably make it to Osea, but that doesn't explain how they land. Because with the arsenal birds, you obviously see like below the arsenal bird, like they must go up like the drones, because the engines of the fucking supply ships, like there are those two modules coming off the bottom of the arsenal bird, which is the supply module. So that's obviously where they dock into the arsenal bird. There's nothing like that to land at Osea. It could not have been Navy supply ships, because
Bridgehead.
if the ground troops have managed to open the bridgehead, the transport route to Osea for supply ships should be available. No, they're not talking about naval vessels. They're talking about the supply ships off the mass driver. Because remember, like, they're not trying to supply Osea, and there's no supply naval vessels here. They're talking about the mass driver. For what it's worth, we know that Bassett Space Center had mass driver modules that could carry people. That's how there was a summit on board the Arkbird. Everyone went up by mass driver. But there's nothing that says these supply ships could carry people. Don't they dock with the Burbs just like the Arkbird in 5? Exactly like the Arkbird. From the bottom.
The transport route to Osea.
And yes, this
software
based on
this island shape is not this island shape at the bottom right. I don't know. I don't know. I could have sent it, but I didn't, but I don't know if it really matters. Okay, so there is another cutscene. Plenty of people have mentioned the Wagtail line. Wagtail is on the Ocean landing ship. I did have landing ship. I did have that's a reference to Ace Combat X, by the way, for people on YouTube who might not understand. Turns out Tyler Island was also going to be vastly different than the mission we ended up getting. Almost double as long. So I preferred the mission we ended up with, but that's why that line, Wagtail was not originally a landing ship. It was originally a ground unit that would have boarded a landing ship. And Jaeger would have been like, wait, why is Wagtail on the landing ship? So there would have been a whole thing there, but they had to change the they had to change it. They had to reuse that line somehow, apparently. So that's why that happened.
The bodies of dead civilians. I hope you were part of the fight. Take that, they're all lined up.
How many factions? 3. Yeah.
No, they are not combatants. Some of them aren't even wearing shoes.
I'm just trying to make sure, like, we can save some time here. So there's a line, this independent special security squadron is demanding to be led into the base. Shit, those guys do some real dirty work. I thought I triggered the line, I thought I captured it, but it is difficult to hear. I think I only got it like once or twice to get into subtitles. So I just wasn't going to bother trying over and over and over again to recapture this mission of all missions. I did try like 5 times to capture this mission as many different ways, but I couldn't get that set of 2 lines. So, but my sin would have been we learned nothing more about the Independent Special Security Squadron or the dirty work they do.
Up in this mess.
I would have had another line there, like favorite line in the game or something like that, but I didn't record anything for that. So, but I had to put it in the video, so I just put a negative sin there.
I got 12 dead bodies here. They used to be upper middle class. Pinpoint nearby, so they could be researching them as family.
Skip. Skip.
We now spend the next 30 seconds flying around pointlessly instead of attacking the supply ships before they launch.
I'm surprised no one's made this point yet. If you blew up the supply ships here, you would have actually killed a lot of people, given that they were carrying, like, Helios or something. So, there's a reason. I mean, if you fire on them, it says hold your fire. If you fire before this part of the mission. You missed Taylor? I skipped over it. I'm skipping some of the sins. You can watch the video. Only reason I'm skipping through is because it's already past midnight here and I want to finish the stream already. Yeah, there's plenty of supply ships there. I had another cutscene here. Where is it? Oh, look, it's the second and last time we see thunderstorms. But then again, once was enough.
Supply ships have been launched from the mass driver.
It wouldn't be an Ace Combat game without chasing a fast-traveling missile... Wait.
There was another line here that Count has. Don't try to follow after the supply ships. Stay close to trigger. And I would have sinned that saying, or split up so we can each take down one supply ship. Maybe that'd be a smart idea, Count. Or, that would be a smarter idea, Count. I couldn't get that line captured either.
We have no choice but to return to our original base.
Why? All Erusian military forces in the area have been wiped out, except maybe the ones at the mass driver, but we now have enough Osean forces to fight them or force them to surrender. With the runway captured, we can land here and use this base.
Even
I'm still
the
convinced they
commander
could've.
here is starting to fray from the stress.
Starting to?
They say that Belkans are known for their conspiracies.
That's just a stereotype.
Yeah, but it's true.
No,
Okay. Skip. Oh, there was a line here where Avril says, "I wonder which story is true, Your Royal Highness." And I had a sense saying surprise, neither of them are true. But now I just don't know because fuck that like whole thing in Mission 4, that whole babble sequence. Damn, boy, is she thick. I think it's just the pants. But yeah.
Except not with...
Oh, some people were confused about why I called this the pronoun game, but not with the pronoun, so a not pronoun game. I'm just referring to how vague they are about, like, we need to destroy the space elevator. Like, that just implies you want to blow the thing up, but no, they don't want to. They want to deactivate it or whatever, so... Skip this, skip this, skip this. I had a sin cut here where, chop, 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 that space stick is gonna fall over Usia. How high is that thing? 100,000 kilometers. I had another cutscene here where Soul Squadron took off from inside the tunnel, and Jaeger said, getting to takeoff speed inside the tunnel is insane. And my sin was not really if it's just a standard runway like any other. But then I cut that because, well, actually, if you're in a fucking tunnel, you probably don't want to get the takeoff speed from inside it, so... We get to see 22 cutscenes of the stream, right? I mean, count all the ones that I've mentioned. It has to be like a third of what's in the video.
Says the leader of an independence resistance movement.
I'm gonna skip through... Yeah, because most of this mission wasn't cut. Yeah, I'm skipping to mission 19 because most of what happened here wasn't cut. Funny thing about the XO2 though.
Straight from the east.
Notice the sin count is 319.
No, 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 no! Don't you dare make me shoot down my baby.
So I didn't actually make it 6, 7 sins. I brought it down to 1. Someone actually asked me, what was the sin there? I'm surprised it's not that obvious. The tunnel connects to a road. Was that a reference to Yellow's runway? Probably. Well, Ishmael, any music that plays inside the elevator is elevator music. So the alternate version of Hush, yes, that's elevator music now. Skip through.
Citation needed. Probably.
Skip through.
I do not.
There was this little girl sitting in front of a mural.
Why would Ionella leave Alma all by herself? This looks like a glass or metallic floor of some kind. Shooting a gun at a data chip on the ground is the worst idea here.
So, people mentioned that I should have sinned the fact that Ionella could just grab the gun from the prison guard's holster. Yeah. I accept that. I probably should have sinned that. Like, how? How? Schroeder is not good at parenting.
She pulled the trigger and destroyed the chip.
When it was her, she could have thought of something.
Pilot.
We know. Dark story.
He said
everywhere. You can't just say 2 wars ago.
The theory was that through war,
etc., etc., etc.
Mihai's granddaughter tossed the gun aside.
Tossing a handgun after firing it, even though doing that can make it go off again, cliché.
The #1 comment that people keep posting on the video, and it is my fault. It is totally my fault. The gun is empty. When the slide is back like that, like when it's stuck like that, it means that it's empty. The barrel is empty. Not the barrel. The magazine is empty. So tossing a handgun that's empty, tossing that aside, it's not gonna go off. My bad. I don't know why I got that messed up. Because I don't know if it's because I didn't realize that the slide was back, or if I didn't realize that's what that meant. I just wasn't paying close attention. I was just focused on the fact that she tossed the gun aside. So that was Sly going to be drafted to learn how pistols work. Magazines are for assault rifles, and clips are for pistols. Thanks, May. You're right. So we'll just say I don't know anything about guns. Now here's the thing. the guard did not have one bullet. A lot of people were saying that even some people were in the comments actually were coming to my defense, saying that even if I didn't sin this, what I should have sinned was the guard only having one bullet. He didn't. You hear there was a little girl sitting in front of a mural. This was the day after the shit went down to Tyler Island. Bang. And then the little girl drags Rosa down the hallway. Bang. And then you hear I think the second bang was right after the shielding on the glass panel on the computers. I think that's when that was destroyed. And then the third bang, the final one, when we see her shooting, is the data chip.
First idea here.
Because that's the third time we hear a bang in this cutscene. So that does imply the guard did not have one bullet in his gun. He had 3. Now, why did he have only 3? That's the question. That's the sin that I would have made. So no, he did not have one bullet, but I should have said, why did he have 3 bullets? This wording on this sin, this cliche isn't there. So anyone remember the XL2 UAVs? Where did those go? Captain, I'm just gonna say that program was shut down because ISAF took over. Modern guns won't go off easily if dropped. Well, Lanzerance, it is a cliche though. Like, you might be right. I don't know how much like shock resistance is in there so that doesn't happen, but like in the trigger mechanism, but I know it like was a thing. CinemaSins makes that is a cliche that CinemaSins mentions every now and then, which is the biggest reason why I wanted to include it. Because it is a staple of CinemaSins when someone tosses a gun they just fired. The thing is, you're right, and I can't tell if the safety is even... Well, the safety wouldn't matter at this point, the gun's empty. But with the safety on, obviously that wouldn't happen. Maybe with modern guns that wouldn't happen either, but yeah, I just screwed this one up. And a lot of people are making sure I know that. That gun should still hold at least 12 rounds. I mean, then someone's gonna say, well, he was obviously shooting people at Tyler Island, but I don't know. Look at that thick pistol grip. Yeah, Captain, I don't know. There's still a question of why did it only have 3 rounds. Regardless, I got the sin wrong, but I will still keep the sin just worded completely differently. I believe we actually do know what gun that is. Because we get a very close look at the marking on it. Sig Sauer P250. The marking on it is XD.50, which implies that it's a Springfield XD, but I suppose people on Acepedia have determined that that's not what it is. It's a Sig Sauer, but it does have a different grip though. XD. Move Sig. Why was the factory empty? There's another sin, yeah. Maybe that's something that I could have replaced in here. But yeah, the gun was empty.
It'd go off again, cliche.
Is this for Belka? Or for Erugia?
That lip syncing needed some more time in development.
Oh, jeez. That moment when you pause at the worst time. For what it's worth, screenshot. Fine, I'll leave it there. I still maintain that Seven's character animations and just character models in general are fucking incredible. Like, the quality... Because Ionella looks very, very good here. Like a human. Even to, like, the hair. In this specific scene, when she's ranting at Schroeder, I can't get over how realistic of a degree they went with the hair. Like, it is really, really good. Far superior, in my opinion, to 6 or to Assault Horizon. And just above 5. Yeah, I know, you know, like, I have to watch my wording because 15-year-old girl, I know. But my point is, the character models are really, really fucking good. And, like, to an extent, unlike the life model decoy known as Melissa, Rosgriz, you're probably one of the biggest fans of 6 I know. Where do you stand on the character models? Because I still think no one's going to be able to convince me that 7's character models aren't the best of the goddamn franchise. That all being said, this is a Japanese franchise. This game was made in Japan. So the lip syncing is not, like, it's not even because they're speaking Japanese. It's just because it's a Japanese game. Lip syncing is just not going to be that good. 4s are the best. Pixie character model was the best, absolutely. But just, like, watch the...
Again, cliche.
Watch the way her hair shifts when she moves. It astounds me that they've managed this quality in Ace Combat. You know, this isn't Naughty Dog. This is Ace Combat. So this degree is still really impressive to me. Like, even just the subtle shifts there. They follow really well.
Firing it, even though doing that can make it go.
The gun was empty, I know.
Is this for Belka? Or for Erugia?
That lip syncing needed some more time in development.
I did see color shift. Just for a second. Might have been like a single frame error.
Time in development.
No, I thought I saw something there.
Or for Erugia?
That lip syncing needed some more time in development.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's just... It might just be the lighting, but regardless. Like, yes, the lip syncing really needed some more work. But it's passable enough. And the animations in general are still really fucking good to me. So I'm gonna stop gushing now because I'm gushing. But, man, the graphics in 7 are on another level.
Development.
We have to learn to put that sense of nostalgia behind us and behave like mature adults.
And the way her hair like bounces on the top of her back, like moves to one side and then moves back when she steps the other way.
We have to learn to put that sense
Like,
of nostalgia
look here.
behind us and behave
It floats left
like mature adults.
and it comes back in the middle. Like, just the detail in her hair is crazy to me. Ace Combat does not have this amount of detail in character animations. This isn't an Ace Combat game. No way. But it is. Again, it's not Naughty Dog. But I did have a cutscene here, by the way. Not the chair all the way in the back, but the second chair. Like, sort of like what almost like what Cassette is looking at, like right next to Cassette. I thought that chair was clipping. I thought it was clipping into the desk, but I realized on closer glance it's not, so I cut that sin. But don't you want to hear a tank crew rant about making a heist in the middle of a war? Trigger was the closest and the gun was empty. Salty, stop it. Is 7 the one of the best character model, or is 0 better? You're talking about two different things. You're talking about in-game character models versus filming real actors. Obviously, filming a real actor is always going to be superior to anything that a game can do, but I mean, in a way, like, you know, Naughty Dog also does a lot of facial recognition, fucking motion capture. Why did I say facial recognition? Mocap. Naughty Dog is very well known for that, how realistic they are. Death Stranding did a lot of it. No, like, that's probably the gold standard, as far as, like, in-game character models, but nothing's gonna top, like, you know, FMVs. Because they're real people. But I still could not ever imagine, like, going from Ace Combat 5 to 6 to Assault Horizon to now in 7, like, the characters looking this realistic. Anime, to a certain extent, I'm not gonna deny that there's obviously, like, in skin tone, certainly in the hair colors, in the way that they move, certainly there's a bit of anime influence, of course, but still incredible to me. I saw Rosgers, I saw. What's the reflection on a table corner? Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's up to you whether you think that chair is clipping or not, but I did decide to cut it. The sin, not the chair. Just look at this buddy. Very realistic buddy.
Spoken in a game that uses a lot of nostalgia in some of the missions.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, but, you know.
I checked the computer. All of the data on the legendary Ace had already been installed.
No, I pulled it before it was completed.
Had already been installed. Computer.
She's a little stiff. But Schroeder is very, he moves a bit.
Installed.
No, I pulled it before.
So you can see the subtle shifts.
You just said...
I had just finished inputting Mihai's data. However, there are 2 aircraft that are already scheduled to be manufactured based on that data.
If you pulled it, how are there 2 aircraft scheduled to be made?
We can destroy...
Etc, 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 etc,
Me.
etc. Okay.
Plan to take this thing down.
Thanks. I owe you. No sweat.
2 sides joined together at the end, cliche.
One of the lines here, Longcaster says, Wiseman trained his squadron well. Everyone in it is still everyone still in it is an ace. My cutscene was apparently being an ace just requires surviving next to Trigger.
Why are the Erusian allies marked red?
Etc, etc, etc.
It's not...
Etc, etc.
Roll credits.
Warning. Missiles launched from the Arsenal bird. They're Helios projectiles.
Oh, hey, it's the airburst missiles we only saw that one other time.
Damn it. Okay, I misspelled the as those. This sin was cut in half. I had a second sentence. I wonder if the Arsenal bird will use them to defend itself. No, of course it won't. But I realized the Arsenal bird firing Helios on us kind of is trying to defend itself, but it still doesn't use them at close range.
I said we were going to take down the space elevator.
Time until now. You're telling me sensors used to detect...
Everybody, give this attack everything you've got.
Mihai's Su-30SM is here. That might make a little sense since he didn't use it when he was shot down, but what makes even less sense is Champ's MiG-29 showing up over here. Okay, that was up. But then
someone pointed out that they do the same thing
particular
here.
Arsenal bird, and this one has upgraded shields. But
I restart from checkpoint.
Shields in gameplay, it has to charge up first.
Hey, look at the Arsenal bird.
Active protection system operated as expected.
Q. They even expected it.
Give us time. We'll see what we can do.
Smash it. Smash all 6 of the bastards.
Yeah, a lot of sins in this mission I didn't cut because it's a long enough mission, so Champ was resurrected to help out Trigger.
What is Cassette smashing the sensors with? She's wearing a pressurized suit, and I hear glass breaking. How is her suit staying untouched?
Come on, Cuckoo Count.
Away with you.
Just what kind of magic did you work there, you asshole?
Apparently, it just takes a magic trick to get in Hushin's pants.
Another funny thing. In this mission, again, I forgot one sin, I think. Like, I forgot to update the number for one of the sins. So this was actually higher than it should have been. So I just added another couple of negative sins just to even it out. not like I was low on giving negative sins for that moment. Thoughts about the B1s and B2s joining the Arsenal bird fight? Also, they're equipped with air-to-air, right? I don't see a problem with that. Yeah, bombers have air-to-air cruise missiles in real life.
The UAVs that were...
Please just take care of the refugees. I'll parachute down. What?
Warning, incoming bogey.
Are those the drones we saw at that factory? I'm coming down. I'll see you on the ground.
I had a cut negative sin here, praising the drone noises.
No, wait!
Cassette did the stupidest move ever after seeing 2 advanced drones. She should have stayed where she was, not fucking jump off. Did Count intentionally fly past Cassette to shake the missile? If so, that still makes him a grade A asshole. Also, Cassette survives this.
There's an Ocean carrier a few kilometers
I'm just trying to see if there were any more cutscenes.
to the west. It ran aground and was abandoned.
Oh yeah. I was going to
down.
I was going to make this a trailer for the release if it didn't take me this long.
It's okay. I didn't need to sleep tonight.
That's also what I felt like when I was editing this. But yeah, that was going to be a trailer for this release. Is there a soundtrack name for that version of them singing in that cutscene about the drones? No. No, Captain. Calamitous, good night. Thanks for being here. Pretty sure I got this one.
I'm at Infinity.
This one is also thanks to Joe Zieja.
Yeah, like 50 years ago.
Zone 2 lost.
Longcaster's playing favorites, I see. Oh, f*** you.
I love that they did that, though. Like, I'm sure all of us were like, Jesus Christ. I I did have a cutscene here where I asked, how did no one notice the first drone fly off the wings? I'm not sure why I cut it, but eh.
I'll deal with you in a little bit.
I'm trying to see if there was anything
drone,
else.
He heard her broadcasts all the time while... What even are physics?
Wish y'all could have seen that.
How is Count sending a radio transmission from underneath the space elevator? Especially since Lancaster's radio cut out.
Ishmael, the guy who made that papercraft model, I don't remember who it was that makes those. He was theorizing that that's what they could do. He was proven right, but he made that papercraft model like a year before the game came out. Was it a year? I don't remember which trailer was which. No, he made that like close to when the Raven was. Soon after the Raven, we got our first look at it. So no, that was a theory. He was, yeah, exactly. He was extremely on point.
This is Captain Kay Nagase of the spaceship Pilgrim 1.
Nagase is here for no other reason than for the fans to freak out.
So here's a couple things. First of all, people keep telling me, as if I don't know, that Nagase was on a mission. That Harling handpicked her to destroy an asteroid that was coming to Earth. I know. I have the book. Like, don't you know that that's the lore? Don't you see? The lore for a million is a necessity. Yes, I am very well aware what Nagase's mission was. She didn't need to be in the game. She's only here for the fans to freak out. I appreciate it. I appreciate that Nagase's here, but she's only here for the fans. This is a pure fan service moment. Also, I had a cutscene that I was like, Nagase, about the former president, by then, AC7 is back online. Count could have tuned his personal radio to it. Rosgriz, thank you. You're right. I have to I retract that sin. You're right. Now the space elevator... No. Back up. I retract my retraction. Lancaster said that the space elevator powered up just in the nick of time, right after we shot down the first ADF-11. Despite that, the second ADF-11 still had to go into the tunnel to use the signal repeaters, and despite that, Lancaster's radio still cut out underneath the tunnels. So no, that sin stands. Count should still not have been able to do that. Don't you know that Nagase was on a mission? Harling handpicked her to destroy an asteroid that was coming to Earth? Thanks, Oboe Shoes. I wasn't aware. Also, hi, man. I don't see you in my streams often at all. Shay, Jian Diao Zhao. Thank you. I totally butchered that name, but thank you. He's the guy who does the papercraft, Ace Combat models, handmade. I'm only wondering, did Nagase and Blaze become a thing? Duh. I mean, it's never officially stated anywhere, but, you know, come on, duh. Salty, it's not a Project Aces meme. It's just a Kono meme. Kono created the character back in Ace Combat 2, and he does it at this point to mess with the fans. No, she's his character. Imagine if you were the head of a series like Ace Combat. Of course you'd put your OC in there. She's gonna need Blaze after finding that out.
To the pilot who generously gave this spaceship a place to dock, we are forever grateful.
what, was Nagase in a holding position until the drones were down?
I think someone went into the comments on my videos about that, but like, of course, because she had to wait for the power to come back, but how would I don't know. I don't know. And how does she know that there was a whole battle and everything? Someone at ground control must have told her. I don't know. How do you even dock in the space elevator? We've never seen, it depends on how the construction is on the other side. In our real life, concepts of space elevators have included potential space stations as the counterweight on the other side. So you could imagine, like, spaceships coming back to dock at a space station, and then passengers could use the elevator back down to Earth. You know, vice versa. But yeah, just one OC? Yeah, May. I want to see if there were any more cutscenes. Oh yeah.
A humanitarian mission from EWW.
Don't even try to fix it via subtitles. I heard it. You all heard it. There's no such place as Yuktovania.
I did have a cutscene here where I was like, leave it to Yuktobania to come in like, hey, Osea couldn't do anything, so why don't we get the glory for saving the refugees?
The cover paragraph states that the peace treaty will be signed at North Point, but why? Why not the space elevator? Of all places, why North Point? It had nothing to do with the entire war. I wrote this 3 nations either. Cassette is mentioned to be 18 years old, so how was she classmates with the 15-year-old Ionella?
Another cutscene here is that later on in the article, it says that Cassette is not recognized as Erusia's head of state, not permanently, because Erusia does not recognize female heads of state. A queen cannot lead Erusia, which I had a sin for that, because I said apparently Erusia doesn't recognize female heads of state, meaning Cassette can't keep the throne. That's some bullshit right there. She's doing more with this mess than anyone else in Erusia. I cut that sin because actually, and this is gonna trigger Strike Freedom, she's not. She's not doing anything in Erusia. She's abandoned her country, and now she's spending all her time at the space elevator. But yeah, it even says that they're looking for a male relative of Cassette's, anyone that they could pass the throne to. Anyway, catching up. There's a platform in orbit that the AC7 connects to, along with solar panels to channel power down to the ground. Razguz, you may be right. I haven't actually read that in a while, so I've totally forgotten. Salty, I have not done the DLC missions yet. I haven't even started the script for those 3. North Point is neutral, isn't it? Yeah, but that's the thing. It's neutral. The space elevator would have been a much better treaty signing place. Yeah, Yuktovania. Again, translation. I'm sure there's a BV like issue from Japanese to English, but again, I don't blame Bandai Namco. I blame the company that they sent it to. Yuktovania is just a Yuk version of Free Erusia we never fought. Rosa was held back 3 years. Mobius, the VR missions are too short. I don't think there's enough content. My original plan was to have a bonus round for this game. One idea was the VR missions. Unfortunately, it took me so long to edit and publish the video on the 31st, still within 2019. Obviously, I couldn't get that done. And now I don't think the VR missions are worthy of their own video. I mean, maybe I'll look into it and see, but I don't think there's enough there for one whole video. What if you do the VR along with the DLC? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. White Phoenix. You need not need, but scientifically, it's much better to have a space elevator on the equator or nearest to the equator as possible. Because that I don't know what it is actually. I don't remember why. It's 1 a.m. and I'm not gonna try to remember why space elevators should be on the equator. But space elevators should be on the equator, and North Point is not near the equator. Thanks, Shay. Appreciate it. Yeah, and Stella Tempora had the asteroid hole, which was a natural, something natural in the ground that they could use as the starting base. Would it be a good move if 8 sets OC as the enemy? No. I want if 8 is going to give us countries we haven't seen yet. Give me anything else. You know, I'm glad we got 7. I love 7. But let us go to Sotua, let us go to Farusa. Did I have anything else? Oh.
I guess Tabloid got that new system he wanted in the end.
What new system is Avril talking about?
So I think while I was editing this, I decided to keep that because it's still such a weird way of phrasing it. But now that I've had time to think about it, I realize she's probably referring to like whatever system of government, or like, because Tabloid was an anarchist and maybe he wanted a new system of, I don't know if government is the right word, but like a new system, you know? And the space elevator is obviously a totally new system. It's not beholden by a specific government. It's its own place. So I guess that's the new system they keep referring to, like with the cutscene name and her line there. But the words "new system" were never said anywhere else in the final game, so I don't know where it came from. And it's such a weird way of phrasing it, but I guess there isn't a whole lot better. But still. Anarchists don't believe in government. I know. So it's wrong to say system of government, but it's system of something. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to find the answer right now. So, is that it? Yeah, actually, that was it. So, that's everything wrong with. That's the behind the scenes look for you guys. I don't. Oh, also, I noticed, I don't know if this is because of the game, I don't know if this is because of my recording, I don't know if this is because of YouTube, I don't know if this is because of Vegas, I don't know what happened. I don't know if you guys can see the one time I'm actually trying to point this way. I can't get it right. Over here, in this direction, there's like a single white line, or like, maybe not white, but like really light blue on the side. There's that line shows up in the other cutscenes too. Sometimes there, sometimes on the other side. I don't know why. I haven't inspected, like I haven't investigated to find out why that was happening, but I don't know which one it was. I don't know if it was YouTube, the render, the Vegas, the capture, the game, I don't know. So, okay. That's the end of the, for now. I mean, I don't know if another time we might just quickly look at like the comments or something. But that is it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm glad I could do this. I'm glad we could go through the whole video. I could share a lot of the cutscenes, some corrections, and some stories on editing. It's a nightmare. I enjoy it, but it's like Stockholm syndrome. I hate it and I love it. Guys, I just want to update on streaming. YouTube guys, you can probably close the video now. Unless you do what I do, because YouTube keeps suggesting like continue watching unless you finish the entire video. So like if you're like me, you're probably just gonna skip to like almost the end and let it play out, because I do that on a lot of videos now. But anyway, you guys on Twitch, make sure that you're in my Discord server. Because I will always be posting, you know, status updates, what's going on with me, what's going on with the streams, what's going on with my YouTube channel in there. I'm still recovering from this illness. Tomorrow, Mondays are usually my days off. I mean, probably have to be. I feel my voice going. And I'm still recovering from this, so I'm not sure about Tuesday's stream. And I'm also not sure what we're gonna do or what the schedule's gonna look like from now on. Oh, Captain. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you weren't doing so well. I'm glad I could offer some level of comfort for you. But don't forget, man, you've got friends here. You got plenty of friends. We're all here for you. I'm not sure what this week is going to look like for my streams. I'm not sure how my voice is going to be for the next couple days. I'm not sure how my nose and my lungs are going to let me perform. So we're just going to have to play this coming week by ear. Please make sure you're in my Discord server to get updates on that. Next week, the 14th through the 17th, I want to say, like, pretty much the weekdays next week. Weekdays or weekend? I don't even remember anymore. Let me check. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be in Florida. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but it's fandom related, not anything that most of you guys are actually going to care that much about. Because it's not like that big of a deal for you guys. The 17th through the 20th. Okay, so yeah, from the 17th through the 20th, and maybe the day before and maybe the day after. So like, let's say the 16th to the 21st, I may not stream. In fact, I will not be streaming the 17th through the 20th. And I may not stream the 16th or the 21st either, so yeah. We are going to have to play this almost this entire month by ear. I hope you guys will stick with me. I hope you guys will continue to support me and watch whenever you're able, or when or support me whenever you're able or whatever. But each day is going to be an adventure this month. Anyway. I still think we should do behind the scenes with the other Ace Combat games since I already did 5. So we got 4, 0, and 6, if we want to continue that. No, I'm not voicing a main character in 8. I have to do an anniversary stream. This game came out on the 18th, right? No, don't look at Steam. Steam's not going to have the right date. I can finally close the script page. Holy shit. That tab has been open for months. January 18th in America, 17th in Japan. Yeah, guys, I am not going to be here. So I can't stream for the anniversary. I won't be in New York on the anniversary. So I don't know if Ace Combat Fan is going to stream. I don't know who else might stream. But make sure you guys support the other Ace Combat content creators as well. But as far as Twitch, you know, if you have Twitch Prime from Amazon Prime and you want to support my channel, it would be very much appreciated. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to one Twitch channel per month for free. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for me for tonight, guys. Yeah. I'm tired. I'm rolling over my own words and I'm saying yeah a lot. Good night, everyone. Thank you again for everything. Bye. Wait. Are you guys still here? Because we may actually switch plans. And Oboe Shoes just started streaming. Hold on. Hell yeah. We can raid Oboe Shoes. Alright, guys. Just join in this, and then if you have to sleep, you can sleep, but we are going to start a raid on Oboe Shoes. He's not even... Shit, is he starting soon? Shit, I don't care. We're raiding him anyway. Let's go. Thank you guys for everything. Good night. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.